Alright, I'm gonna jump in just a little early because I don't have any more prep to do. Hello, everybody. Hi. Believe we are ready. Let me hop into the just chatting screen for a moment. Oh, Lord. It's not reacting. Hold on. It does this sometimes. Where's the mic button? Oh, very cool. We love a botched stream. VTuber Plus just likes to just shut down randomly, which is really cool and fun and not at all really obnoxious. Thank you. I really like the ears. I feel like I should have done that from the start. Zoom out there. See, this is this here. Bigfoot. Hello, testing. There we go. This here is why prep time exists. All of this nonsense that has to happen behind the scenes. Which I did do. I did all of this already, but PNG Tuber Plus likes to just freak out. Okay, there we go. Hello. Hi, everybody. We're in it now. We're vibing. We're rolling. How are we all doing today? Why did my music stop? God, everything is falling apart. Keep playing, please. There we go. Anyway, yeah, I agree. The ears are way better than the elf ears. Today, we are not doing much art. I probably will later on, but we're actually today going to be playing some games. Whoops. That's the BRB screen. Embarrassing. Why is it not capturing? Dude, this actually... Come on now. Dude, I literally did all of this already. There we go! Swooning over stands. I've been very excited to play this game. Silly Billy, spotted you. Welcome back, friend. How are you today? How are we all doing this morning? I guess it's not a morning. It's 1 p.m. for me. I don't know what time it is for y'all. Let's get this. Get this bread. Okay. Now the Spotify can stop. Good old road trips. Full of promise and ripe with potential for adventures, soul-searching, and incredible scenery. Or at least that's what you thought before the novelty wore thin. As of now, your legs are cramping up, you've exhausted your travel playlist 2 times over, and your stomach is begging for something to eat. On top of all of that, you're pretty sure you're lost. Driving through Oregon paints a picture of trees, trees, and more trees, especially on the endless, winding roads that you're taking up north. All that breaks the pattern is a sign that zips past, the words that you're just able to make out. Gravity Falls. The road continues on, giant redwoods looming on both sides. You find yourself anticipating something because as you drive in, you feel it. Something strange is bound to happen here. You're still sleepy? Yeah, me too, kinda. Hold on, let me... This is a little annoying to look at. Is multi-stream working? It sure isn't. That's okay. I'll still keep both windows open. The road continues on, blah, 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 something weird. And that's when it happens. Your car picks up speed. The change came out of nowhere, and you quickly put your foot on the brakes, but horrifyingly, the car seems to be driving on its own willpower. Trying to stay calm despite the panic. Whoa, the music. That's unsettling. Trying to stay calm despite the panic welling in your chest, you pull the emergency brake, only to find that the car resists and keeps moving forward, like something's pulling it. The car begins to rattle, the wheels screech against the country road, and you're screaming until... crash. There's smoke. Why is there smoke? You cough, fumbling for your door, and manage to undo the lock just before the door is wrenched outward from your grasp. Something lands on your shoulder. A hand. Are you alright? Hi, Ford. A man stands at your open car door, his hand on your shoulder leaves to tilt your head up. Hi, oh my god. Twirls hair. And he pulls a flashlight from his coat, shining it in your eyes. 2 blinks, and he lets your chin go. His eyes dart over the rest of you, looking for injuries. Still stunned, all you do is watch. What's your name? Type in your name. What do we want our name to be, chat? I guess I'll just do Satyr. Sorry for asking and then not not listening for an answer at all. Satyr, I'm Stanford Pines. Ford for short. I would shake your hand, but you look shaken up enough as it is. Oh, because he's got 6 fingers. Because if you don't know him, you're going to be like, hey, yo, what the fuck? You seem fine as far as I can tell, but you shouldn't head back out there anytime soon. Where on earth were you driving in such a hurry? You open your mouth to explain when a voice calls from inside the house. There's my mans. There's my boy. Poindexter, this better not be one of your experiments again. I've had this place rebuilt too many times to... God, he looks so freaking good in this game, y'all. The owner of the voice walks out of the house and stops slack-jawed at the sight of your car in the sight of, you're guessing, his house. You must have hit your head earlier because you could swear you're seeing double. Apparently our main character does not know what twins are. Sweet Moses, Ford, you've done it this time. What? This had nothing to do with me. I was testing my magnet gun and it must have pulled this victim of circumstance into the house. I suppose that is entirely my fault. I'm incredibly sorry. You bitch. You motherfucker. Cry. Just start sobbing. Honestly, if my car... I mean, Allie's gonna know this. I freaking love my car. My car is so important to me. If this happened to me, like in actuality, I would be beside myself. I would be freaking out. So I kind of want to hit cry because that's the real answer, is I would be like, you bitch, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna hit cry. That's what we're gonna do. A tear streaks down your cheek and before you know it, you're crying. Both men look intensely uncomfortable, but Ford reaches out to give you a hesitant pat on your shoulder. You are so good at comforting. Thank you so much, Ford. Hey look, it's fine, alright? Sure, there's a dent in the hood from the shack signage, and a crack in the windshield that looks like an ominous triangle. Ooh, uh-oh. But I'm sure she'll still run. Thanks. You actually genuinely are better at comforting. You try to start up the car. It sputters, but ultimately nothing happens. Oh god. It fills me with so much anxiety. Not my car. Not poor little Bitsy. You feel like crying again. Oh. Well, let's call a tow truck for this unfortunate soul here and forget. I'll take care of it. You're right. It is cheaper to tow it yourself. Sixer, get that magnet gun out again. No, Stanley, I'm going to fix this. Yes, please. What? Huh, you fix this mess? I figured out a few alien I've figured out a few alien vehicles in my time. Nah, you kidding me? It'd take some sort of miracle worker to bring this baby back to life, and this miracle worker is on vacation. Rude. Fix my fucking car, Stan. Stanley, a moment. I'll come back. Ford and Stanley turn away, and you're left to your thoughts. Who could anticipate a car accident like this in the middle of a road trip? You can take care of the car, but how are you going to get home? They run buses out here, right? So you could take a bus out of here and then... Ford clears his throat, shifting a little awkwardly in place. Seems like they've finished their talk. So there's a few options. My brother Stanley here could drive you out of town and find a place to stay for the night. Out to town. I don't know why I thought that they were like, we're just gonna get you the fuck out of here, actually. Out to town and find a place to stay for the night. Or you could stay the night here. I think I'll just stay here. I'm a little shaken up. I don't want to be by myself. We have some maps and information you can look at in the gift shop, and in the morning, we can help you with your car. What do you say? Just as you're about to answer, another high-pitched voice comes from inside the house. Grunkle Stan, picture this. A whole week of, oh my gosh! Mabel! The girl that runs out of the house comes to halt at the sight of your car. Oh, great. Grunkle Ford? Why is it everyone automatically thinks I'm at fault? You are at fault, though. Well, this time it is my fault, but I've invited Satyr here to stay with us for the night, if they'd like. I'm sure I can fix this. I just have to figure out how. Stanley sighs. I can take a look. Being on vacation's pretty boring. And the old Stanmobile hasn't needed a tune-up yet, so it wouldn't be too bad to work on something in the meantime. Thank you, Stanley. I'm sure I can put something together from the gadgets I have lying around if you need any specialized tools to help you with the job. And let me introduce myself. I'm Mabel. You can ask me anything. I pretty much know everything there is to know about this place. Wait, hold on. I haven't even said anything yet. I appreciate your offer to let me stay. And to repair your car. Yeah, it'll be good as new in my hands. I mean, look at my Stanmobile. She's been through the ringer who knows how many times... Oh, God, my brain. She's been through the ringer who knows how many times, and she's still a beaut. He points out a red car in the distance. You can't really see how beautiful it is in this distance, but she sounds really confident. Or he sounds really confident. LOL. Well, this turn of events is fortuitous. Free repairs? Free lodging? There's no better deal to be found. And if things don't work out, the town probably has some sort of audio repair shop you can head to instead. Well, I accept. Thanks for the help. No, it's Mabel. Let the chaos ensue. Yeah, exactly. Let me scooch this so I can read it better. There we go. And my apologies again. What an embarrassment. I must have made such an elementary mistake. As the pines lead you inside the house, Mabel leaves her number in your phone for you to call whenever, and you find out that Ford's twin goes by Stan. This part's the house, but just outside the door's the Mystery Shack. Hey, you ever been to the Mystery Shack before? Bitch, when did you think that I would have been in the Mystery Shack? I want you to ask that question again slower, Stan. I'm obviously new. I wanted to, actually. I saw a bumper sticker while I was on the road, and got curious. You're interrupted by a loud, triumphant, ha! Those bumper stickers were a good investment, and Sixer says they're too plain and graphically simplistic, and don't even have an address on them, Stanley. How is anyone supposed to find the place? To attract customers. Sixer, did you hear that? Well, they are graphically simplistic. I don't know how they find the place, let alone thought, what is the Mystery Shack, was compelling. I kinda liked it. See? They kinda liked it. Hey, I like you, Satyr. How about I give you a tour sometime tomorrow? Regular price. Regular price is so funny. Tomorrow? Then I'll have to squeeze all my get-to-know-you questions in today. Satyr, tell me, capybara, yes or no? At that moment, a boy passes in the hallway at the far doorway, and Ford calls out to him. Dipper, my boy, I'm surprised I didn't see you run out to the scene of the crime. Crime? What crime? I have an alibi, I swear. Oh, you have someone with you. Crime? Oh. Haha, I'm not suspicious at all. Did you guys see that car side? God, why can't I read? Yeah, I want Ford so bad that's real. I'm a Stanley gal myself, but Ford can get it. Ford can absolutely get it. Did you guys see the car in the side of the shack, though? For a second, I thought the Manitors were back with the grudge. Yes, about that. Dipper, meet Satyr. I've stranded their car here by accident. They're staying here for the time being. Sorry, stranded their car here? You crashed it? Yeah, the S... yeah, the S in shack fell on it and everything. And the windows were cracked. One window, the windshield. And Satyr was lucky to make it out alive. Yeah, honestly, come to think of it, Mabel, very good point. Very good point. Ford could have actually killed me. They were fine. No injuries, thankfully. The magnet gun's rather safe despite never having been tested in a formal setting. Yeesh, did you not, like, take safety precautions or anything? Actually, the irony of the situation is that I was trying to install a safety precaution. Hey, if you two are gonna do your nerd talk, I'm gonna get Satyr set up. Mabel, sweetie, why don't you show Satyr around? Let them stay in, the storage room. That's still empty, right? I'll make it empty. Thanks, Mabel. You're so sweet. The rest of the day consists of Mabel showing you to the storage room. Fuck! God, I can't read anything. The rest of the day consists of Mabel showing you the storage room you'll be staying in, then the kitchen, then the living room, and the hallway, and the bathroom, and pretty much a comprehensive tour of the mundanities of a regular house. Eventually, you find out that the family is even more extended than you knew. The decorative dollies make a lot more sense knowing a grandmother normally lives here. Huh? Oh, and her grandson Seuss. Oh, okay, so this is after the whole story. This is after they... Well, that doesn't really make sense. I guess I don't fully understand the timeline here. Eventually you find out that the family... or was it Zeus? Whatever the name, you look forward to meeting him when he comes for work in the morning. Doesn't Seuss and his grandma live in a different house? Because when the Mystery Shack got all, messed up, they went to go stay with Seuss and his grandmother. Anyway, small detail. When you go up to the attic, Mabel opens the door to reveal Dipper, nose stuck in his book, but you catch him occasionally glancing up at you as he pretends to read. The next member of the family snorts up at you from Mabel's bed, a rotund pig. Hi, Waddles, who Mabel declares is her best friend and partner in crime, Waddles. You two are a perfect match, right down to the chubby cheeks and boopable noses. And in the evening... God, I can't read shit. Welcome to Taylor Can't Read stream. And in the evening, though you'd still been in disbelief over the state of your car, the family dinner and after-dinner TV marathon you'd been invited to makes it seem like a normal guest stay rather than a forced circumstance. I need to get my glasses. You're doing great, thank you. Give me 1 second. Oh, Jesus, I turned the volume up. I am going to get my glasses because I can't read shit. I'm back. Glasses can't fix dyslexia, but they might help. Returning to the storage room Mabel had shown you earlier, you find an air mattress waiting for you, and more pillows and sheets than a summer night warrants. Yeah, true, fair. You wake to the weak glare of sunlight streaming through the small, high window on the wall. You can't remember your room having this kind of feature, or any hotel or motel room for that matter. And then yesterday comes crashing back to you. You glance at the time and see that you've slept into the afternoon. Experiencing the accident yesterday must have left you tired out. Despite having been assured yesterday evening that you were free to anything in the fridge, you'd still feel like you're imposing on the Pines family to try preparing as polite a breakfast as you can. Guest breakfast. Jesus Christ, brother. You wash your dishes in the sink before you leave, and just as you're about to exit the kitchen, you bump into Ford. You're a yes from yesterday, of course. For a good, solid moment, Ford regards you in awkward silence. He's so funny. Ford clears his throat. I believe Stanley's taking a look at your car outside if you want to be there for it. You give a nod and Fuck, dude. Maybe I don't need to be reading today. Maybe this does need to be on an art stream today. I am illiterate. You give a nod and make to leave for real this time when Ford speaks up again. And Satyr, I'm sorry again for the accident. If I'd been smarter about, well, let's just say it's entirely my fault, and you shouldn't worry about this at all. When it comes down to it, Stanley does have a knack for cars. I predict you'll be back on the road in a matter of weeks. Weeks. You can't keep the dismay off your face. And you can't really bring yourself to try either. What am I going to do with weeks? Ford, who'd gone kind of uncomfortable and closed off when your face fell, recovers at the prospect of a question he can answer. Well, there's the town to tour, of course. And the Mystery Shack. Thank you for the follow over there on TikTok, I appreciate it. But if you ask me, all that pales in comparison to... Hold on, do you hear that? Ford turns to the kitchen doorway to investigate. Sounds like... The sound comes again, and this time you hear it as well, the squeal of a pig, followed by a pair of quick footsteps running down the stairs. Waddles tumbles past the open kitchen doorway, and Mabel comes into view soon after, a few sheets of paper clutched in hand. Ford steps quickly out of the kitchen, and you follow to the doorway, getting there just in time to see the apparent tug-of-war between Mabel and her pig over a saliva-covered sheet of paper. The paper rips, and after nearly toppling backwards from her efforts, Mabel recovers, snatching the scrap of ripped paper from Waddles' jaw and lifting both pieces up victoriously. Ha-ha! Mabel wins again. Now I just gotta find Grunkle Ford! Ford, who'd run forward and held a hand out to steady his energetic child when she'd been in danger of toppling over, now finds a number of crumpled sheets of paper shoved into his hands. Mabel tugs urgently at his coat. Grunkle Ford, you've got to help me. Ford kneels down to face Mabel with a serious, though concerned look. Slow down, Mabel. What's the matter? Dipper found a stack of pages from your old journals, and I walked in and Waddles ran up and started eating one, and he must have been chewing on it to warn me, Grunkle. Because look, Mabel finds the ripped halves of paper back, Jesus. Oh, I can think of plenty of things to do in weeks. That's crazy, but you're so real for that. Mabel takes the ripped halves of paper back from Ford's hand and joins them together, holding it up for Ford to see. I see, and you took it as a warning. Yes, it says here it eats small dogs, and Waddle is a small pig, but he sorta looks like a dog from far away, and Waddles must have feared for his life. Waddle seems to second this notion with a snort. Or not, it seems the pig is lounging adorably a short distance away in the hallway. You can't imagine what this dangerous predator could be. Some kind of wolf? Something bigger? You're suddenly not so keen on staying anymore. Remember the pterodactyl I told you about? Waddles was so scared that time, I can't let him leave my side. Pterodactyl? You suppose pigs are allowed in museums around here? How about I finish that repellent I never got around to completing? That'll keep Waddles safe from harm. Mabel flops down on the floor in relief. Grunkle Ford, you're an actual lifesaver. Waddles, you have nothing to fear. Ford chuckles, lifting himself out of the kneel to stand back up. Alright, I'll go get my recipe. Ford turns to leave, and suddenly you remember that with nothing better to do for weeks, you're going to be here. It wouldn't hurt to get to know Ford. He seems to know that there's nothing to do in town anyway, and you'll need to not die of boredom in this week. Or, more pressingly, you could go check on the car and see what Stan has made of it so far. You're not exactly eager to face seeing your car in the side of the house again, though. We're absolutely gonna go check on the car. Goodbye, Ford. After Ford leaves, Mabel rolls away with her pig towards the living room, and you head out of the house in search of Stan. Where's my man? Where is he? Where's my old fat man? The Mystery Shack should only have 4 main sides, but you feel like you've made your rounds past 5 of them before finally seeing your car. Your absolute wreck of a car. You swear it looks even worse than it did when you crashed it. Stan stands before it, hands on his hips, as he looks at the large wooden S that's made its indent in the car's hood. How bad is it? Can't tell yet. Not till I get this letter off the hood. The S never did like to stay in place. That's true, it is always fallen. Mystery hack, huh? Look, if you're gonna insult me... Oh, you were reading the sign. I'm fixing that later, alright? Just avert your eyes, don't look at that. I'll offer to help. Guess we should fix it as soon as possible then. Sounds good to me. Give me a hand here, would you? Stan directs you to help him push the wooden S off the car. It stalls a little in its own dent, but with another firm shove, its end meets the ground. Stan gives it another push with a grunt and it flips, falling completely to the side with a whoomp. Now that it's free of its burden, Stan lifts up the dented hood of the car and takes a look inside. The hums and ha's and rubs a hand over his chin in thought, walking over to his toolbox and grabbing a tool before walking back, still assessing the damage. Yeah, this one's gonna take a while. You've got parts that need replacing, not to mention she's not gonna look so hot after this. Not unless Ford's got the tech squirreled away somewhere that he can smooth out these dents. The more he tells you of the situation, the more it all sinks in. You really are stuck here. Stan spots your worried frown. Zero, spotted. Hello, Zero. Hey, Satyr, right? Look, I know how this sounds, but with me on the job, you'll be all set and back on the road in no time. You think so? Kid, I know so. Don't call me kid. Please don't call me kid. Twiddles fingers. I know so. I've even got a plan to get those replacement parts of yours. Might not be able to clean up all these scuff marks after I'm done, but she'll run. And hey, so maybe we've got a couple days. So what? There are worse places to get stranded, believe me. Oh no, stuck here, what a tragedy. Twirls hair. In fact, I'd even say the Mystery Shack is the best place to get stranded. We've got all tons of stuff for people to just pass in through. Merchandise, magic, mystery, any other M words. Mayhem, you get the idea. Stan tosses the tool in his hand back in the toolbox, exchanging it for another. He works for a while longer in silence. Metallic clanks and the occasional heavy breath, all of it mixes with the sounds of the outdoors. You stand by, awkward, uncomfortable, and a little useless. Can I help with anything? Know anything about cars? No. Stan straightens, cracks his back, and sets down a tool before leaning casually against the nearest load-bearing surface. He wipes his forehead, lets his hand fall to his waist, and gives you an assessing look. How about collages? Tall tales? Improv? Yeah, I think I can handle that. What does that all have to do with this? You gesture at your stranded car, held in limbo between life and death by nothing other than Stan Pine's car expertise and a little luck. Nothing. I was planning on having you help Seuss around the shack. A favor for a favor, what do you say? Well, it's more interesting than helping Ford with his pest problem. You accept. Alright, follow me. But I want to hang out with you and watch you work on my car. I don't want to hang out in the Mystery Shack. You follow Stan back to the Mystery Shack, passing by the showroom and getting a glimpse of an energetic figure leading a flock of tourists through a variable sea of obviously fabricated oddities. You hear the words, and this is the 9th wonder of the world, right in the Mystery Shack. It's what makes this place world famous, dudes. Stan notices your pace slow as you listen and tosses an explanation back for you. That's Seuss. During operation hours, he's the Mystery Shack's one and only Mr. Mystery. Oh, okay, so this is after the events of the whole story. It's just weird that they're here, given that the whole point was that they, went on the Stan of War 2. But alright then, works for me. That clears up the timeline question from earlier. I told him he didn't have to keep the shack running while he's on vacation, but the kid's got a passion for the role. You interested in this kind of stuff? I was thinking about going on a tour. Whoops. 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 Anyway. Feels weird now that you're staying at a tourist trap, though. And you were kind of going to poke fun at exhibits. Harder to do when you have to live around the tour guide. It's fine, really. Nah, I think I want to give you a tour of the place. I'll get a personal tour. You'll get one from the founder himself. You ever hear one of my plugs on the radio? You weren't really paying attention to the radio during the drive, just taking in the Oregon scenery. See the signs pointing to this place over a mile down the road? Again, you were pretty preoccupied with the Oregon scenery, but you guess you did see some signs with question marks on them. God damn it, if I accidentally... You know what? Let's save. This is the universe telling me to save. You did see some signs with question marks on them. That's some vague advertising. Just seeing that it worked. Seeing what works. Bumper stickers, huh? Ha, still got one on Ford. Anyway, follow me, folks. Well, folk. Get ready to be amazed. I'm already amazed. Stan starts leading you back the way you came. You trail behind him, a little skeptical, but definitely curious. Didn't you say the founder would lead this tour? Is Seuss the founder? Stan laughs. What? No, I'm the founder. Built this place from the ground up. Well, metaphorically speaking. I mean, the house was here, and the junk was here, but I was the one who spun this into a wondrous house of mysterious junk. Stan gestures with his arms like he's smoothing out a rainbow. You're not very impressed. I'm impressed. Shut up, narrator. I'm impressed. Prepare to be amazed. You're still not very impressed. Yes, I am. Shut up. But this energy gets you hoping you'll be amazed anyway. There's a tour group in the showroom right now, so I'll be taking you in a different cycle that completely misses them. We're starting in the gift shop. You enter the gift shop, a simple room crowded top to bottom with standard tourist souvenirs and merchandise. You see t-shirts with question marks, mugs with question marks, and pretty much everything has question marks. In one corner of the room stands a lumpy attempt of a statue labeled the Founder, recognizable as Stan only by the nose and glasses. This room usually comes after I butter the customers up to buying things, but since you're staying a while, I'll have plenty of time to sell you stuff later. Okay. Fair enough, I guess. You take a look around, and if you see an impulse buy, make it. Oh, take a look around. If you see an impulse buy, make it. Nothing's like trusting your guts. Whoa, the whole founder statue? Is that for sale? Jar of eyeballs, t-shirt, pine tree hat, Aztec calendar, freezer full of ice goods, pyramid of mugs, employee of every month. Done looking. What should we get? What are we thinking, chat? What are we thinking? Kind of leaning towards the founder statue. Because I just think it's really funny to buy the whole ass founder statue. It's too easy to make bad jokes in this game. I'm struggling not to. Yeah, I've kind of bit my tongue a little bit too. A t-shirt is a good default option. I feel like it would impress Stan the most to get a founder statue. Man, I don't know. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? What are we thinking? What are we thinking? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Let me mute that. I opened my stream to take a look at how it's going. Alright. Anyway. What are we thinking? I feel like I'm kind of leaning towards the founder statue. Yeah, I should ask Mabel to carve it. You gotta admit that every version of me's got a charming smile, though. Oh, okay, so we're not buying anything, we're just looking. We're just looking. Okay. Let's take a look at the jar of eyeballs. Thought we sold this thing years ago. Ha, nah, I forgot to put a price on it. It just has a $sign on it. Stan takes a dark marker and squeezes in a $9.99. Then he goes back to make it $29.99. That jar's got a lot of eyeballs. T-shirt. Who doesn't love a good souvenir t-shirt? They're great for layering. And they've got a characteristic mystery shack question mark on them. What makes a mystery shack question mark instead of just a regular question mark? You ask too many questions. Or do you? You said that last part in an exaggerated tone that betrays it as a sales pitch. This guy has no subtlety. Pine tree hat. Dipper used to wear one of those. Seuss tells me they sold out like hotcakes after Ford tossed his journals into the bottomless pit. Funny, those events have no correlation. Journals? Bottomless pit? We'll have to take a chance to swing by the bottomless pit later. It's a prime spot on every tour because the troublemakers always accidentally trip in and get to lead the tour without them for 20 minutes. I'm kidding. Should have seen the look on your face. So charming, please stand all by everything. Yeah. He doesn't need sales tactics. He just needs to grin at me and I'm like, okay, give me everything. I'll take 10 of your entire stock. Aztec calendar. I absolutely know how to read that thing. You should buy it. Freezer full of ice goods. Just because you're staying over does not mean you get to sneak over here for a popsicle. I get to do that, but that's because this used to be my place and I get founder benefits. I also get founder dibs on the pineapple ice pops. Noted. Stan likes pineapple. That's his flavor. Noted. This isn't canon, this is made by a fan, but in my head, in my heart, where it counts, this is canon. Pyramid of mugs. Oops. LOL. You can't actually take one out of the stack. I glued them together way back when. Secret business trick. And you're telling me because no one will ever believe you. Then they'll try it, and the whole stack will fall on the floor. You notice how you break it, you buy it sign on the wall, you motherfucker. Employee of every month. Seuss has always been the hardest worker in the place. It was only natural to hand it over to him. I guess we're done looking. I want to buy the founder statue. Give me the founder statue. You sure? Well, I think I hear the tour group heading out of the showroom anyway. Give me the founder statue. Now, most tourists don't appreciate nature's artistic genius. By which I mean my artistic genius, because I remembered you're gonna help me out today. You don't think up a moneymaker wonders by... Jesus. You don't think up money-making wonder like the Sasquatch by having a boring 9-to-5 office job. You think it up when you wonder, why hasn't anyone found the Sasquatch? Could it be that its name has been mispronounced this whole time? Anyway, just let me know when you've soaked up enough inspiration in this room, because you're gonna need it. You need to use it right after. Alright, come on. You're gonna see what makes this place the Mystery Shack instead of just the shack. We're making another attraction for the showroom. You follow Stan through the living room to the kitchen, where stuffing and animal parts are strewn across the surface to your left. Stan pulls out the thick needle and spool of thread, and as an afterthought, adds a couple of nails and a hammer to the pile. It seems a little unnecessary to do this right across from the fridge, and has potential to look almost gruesome if it weren't so oddly cartoonish. He steps up to the workspace and pulls out the googly eyes that have been glued over the lifeless, glassy ones of the typical taxidermy. Mabel's contribution to the craft project remained firmly intact. Huh. That's what I get for letting Mabel bring her stash of scrapbooking supplies. That's one more thing to add to the backstory. Backstory? What? You don't think tourists are dumb enough to believe that the thing you're selling them is what you tell them just like that, do ya? Because if you do, you'll be set to do business in Gravity Falls. Anywhere else, though, customers take a little more work. See, every good piece comes with... God. Take a shot every time I just fucking break down while trying to read. I did just realize that my little tuber is like right in the way of... Let me see if I can't... We're gonna make him a little smaller. We're gonna scoot them kinda out of the way. Nah. Y'all don't get reading privileges. Revoked. Welcome to illiteracy. We're in this struggle together. See, every good piece comes with some kind of story. Or, if you're Poindexter, some kind of lore. Horror stories work pretty well, because with enough suggestion, people can always find ways to spook themselves. Done it for years. It's kind of an art. Stan appears nonchalant, but you can see quiet pride within him. Ooh, interesting. What do we want to do? Sounds easy, sound hard. I feel like saying that it sounds hard is kind of flattering him. I feel like he might get offended if you're like, yeah, sounds so easy. Sounds hard. That's why I'm here, to make sure you do it right. You're still doing all the work, though. You said you've done this for years? Always had a knack for it, even when I was a kid. Sure, there was a little learning curve involved, and I've had a few unhappy customers over the year. Oh yeah? Is that right, Stan? Like the ones that chased you with pitchforks? The ones that fell apart because they were your pitchforks? Stan pauses, seemingly to reminisce, and the mixed smile grimace on his face tell you he probably had many, many unhappy customers. But mostly, I've run a great business on telling lies. I mean, stories. You're learning from a true master, kid. Please stop calling me kid. I'm not a kid. Take me seriously, Stan. So why don't you run this place anymore? You look like you're still part of this place. What is your original vision for the shack? Let's get to the showpiece already. Well, we're not doing the last one. I want to get to know you. Tell me more about yourself, Stan. I'm gonna hold your hands as I ask you these questions. What do we want to ask? Let's ask, you work like you're still part of this place. You can take a man out of the mystery shack, but you can never take the mystery shack out of the man. Take the mystery out of the man. Specifically, me. Which is why I'm back to work even though I don't have to. 30 years of the same routine will do that to you. That's true. Oh, we can keep asking things. What was your original vision for this shack? Vision? Make money. What other vision do you need? That's real. That's, you know what? Canon. But over the years, sure, I've used the mystery line for advertising. Who isn't curious? Who doesn't want to be amazed? Kids are the most skeptical of the bunch, though, let me tell you. Once they hit about 8 or 9, they love trying to prove it's all fake. Then they get older and realize there's nothing good left in the world unless you pretend there is, and everyone pretends along with you because they're all desperate. Jesus, dude. Part of me wants to question if Stan would say that, but he absolutely would. I think back to the episode with the truth teeth, where he just absolutely, it's so mysterious, so real, so demure. You know, where he like absolutely traumatizes Dipper and Mabel because he says shit like that and they're literally rocking back and forth, so Maybelline, yeah. So why don't we run this place anymore? Stan's grin melts into something softer, maybe a little bittersweet. My brother wanted to drag me off on a trip with him. Couldn't say no, and I couldn't just close the place, so I left it all to Seuss. Oh really? Ford's the only one that wanted that? It wasn't a mutual thing. Only Ford. That's so Stan. To be like, well, I guess, since you want to do it so bad, I guess I'll come along with you. Stan, just admit it made you happy and you wanted to go. He practically grew up in this place, you know? Definitely wouldn't have entrusted it to Wendy. True. She's usually the cashier around here in the summer. It's weird having to explain all this to you. I keep thinking you already know all this. Stan turns his attention back to the workspace, and you notice once more the daunting selection of items that lay upon the table. It's not the number, but the variety that makes you unsure how you're going to craft something out of this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do with all this stuff. Surprise me. Stan walks off to the side to, you guess, do some work of his own. You're glad he's not going to watch you the whole way through. Piece together as many parts as you can find. Piece together as many disparate parts as you can find. Oh, matching parts, disparate parts. Keep things a nice mix of matched and mismatched. I think we're gonna keep it mixed. Keep it nice and balanced. Now, how should you keep these parts attached? Hand stitching, really tie this all together. Use a stapler, it's faster. Hammer nails, obviously. Let's make it nice and presentable. Let's really put our whole Ussy into it, you know? Okay, you have a base to work off. What next? Add some sculpted details, color in some of the fur to accent the googly eyes, just call it a day. Let's accent the googly eyes. Hey Stan, I'm finished. Good enough. I worked so hard on this, Stan. Be impressed. Please be impressed by me. I worked so hard. Stan picks up your disturbing creation up gingerly. What's the story here? Give it to me. How do you want to approach this? More fiction than fact. Just have fun with it. Let's just have fun with it. This is a fish squirrel chicken. Stan nods appraisingly. Yes, thank you. Oh my god. Sounds like you got the hang of it. Well, that wasn't a story, that was a name. Let me type. Give me a text box. I'll give you a story. Alright, this thing's about to close. About as close to show ready as it'll get. Wait here a sec. Stan carries the showpiece out of the room. After a few moments, you hear his footsteps return. Okay, save. Yes. Every time I accidentally pause, I'm just gonna save. After a few moments, you hear his footsteps return, and he comes into the room with 2 cans of pit cola. Stan sets one down on the table, its condensation starting to slowly drip on the table surface. He waves you over to join him, and you slide into the seat across from him. Nothing like a cold one to finish up the day. Cheers. He picks up his can, gesturing towards you as he leans leisurely back in his chair, and you watch as he takes a sip. It's a nice-looking sip, and now you're staring. OMG, Stan, be impressed by me. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm working so hard. You pull over your own can and pop it open. Got any questions for me? Talking tends to ease me into a new place. Might do the same for you. Honestly, kinda, yeah. What are we gonna ask? About Ford, about the exhibits, about him? We're asking about him. I don't even need to read the last one. We're asking about him. So tell me about yourself. Stan laughs nervously. What is this, a first date? Yes. Yes, it is. Well, I'm Pines, Stan Pines. Imaginator, town darling, used to be proprietor of the Mystery Shack. Town darling is so funny. Yes, I have tons of questions for you, but none of the pre-scripted ones. Yeah. Give me a text box. He pauses and stays paused. You give him an expectant look and that wants him to continue, and he clears his throat, nervous. Why are you so nervous? It's okay. What, you were serious? I don't, get this often. The longest I can get people to listen to me is when I'm selling them something, and even then, it's tough luck. The last time someone listened to me, they tried to eat me. Can you believe that? I barely got much meat left on me. Anyway. And? Keep going. You just can't end it there. Stan gives an uncertain smile, which becomes a full-on grin, and he laughs. Alright, I'll tell you. So you see, there's this irresistible thing called revenge. Stan tells you a tale of a road trip, a mountain full of mummies, and a woman who is secretly a spider. Yeah, you've got stories, brother. Tell them to me. Don't be so bashful. You don't believe a word of it, and you find yourself enjoying it anyway. Stan knows how to hold his audience in a decent suspense, and he seems to light up whenever you laugh at the right parts, grinning along with you. Oh my god, twirls hair. Chemistry. Before today, you've never even heard of Mr. Mystery before, but now you feel like you're really seeing something special here. One-on-one with the man himself. I don't care. I don't care about the other stuff. Tell me more. I have to take my sweater off. It's hot in here. It's hot in here, chat. Oh, Lord. Okay. I guess we'll ask about Ford, get it out of the way. Oh, listen. I like Ford. Don't let me make it sound like I'm begrudgingly learning about Ford, but I'm not pursuing Ford this run. I'm pursuing Mr. Stanley. Is Ford usually like that? I mean, trying to fix what ain't broke and end up making trouble? Nah, he was the good twin growing up. You were the troublemaker, I can tell. I want both old men, but I'm leaning towards Ford more and more. That's fair. Fair and real and reasonable. But Stan has owned my heart since day one. That's not true. Not since day one, because I was, like, 12 watching this show. So Stan wasn't my type back then. But now I'm mature. Now my tastes have matured. They've refined. Stan laughs. You have no idea. About the exhibits. The showroom already seemed full when I saw it earlier. Why make more? Tourists love variety. Put up a sign advertising a new attraction and they'll come pouring through the doors. When I started this place, I didn't think I'd, like making these. Used to be just another thing that made money. Now I'm stuck with it. Guess 30-something years of that routine will do it to a man. Yeah, true. Sandstones sounds gruff, but it's a fond gruffness. Sixer says keeping familiar habits helps too, so I've kept it up. God damn it. At least I'm saving regularly. You think I could sell some of these as art pieces? Yeah. Yeah, I could play them up to buyers and sell them at even more ridiculous prices than I usually would. Here's the thing— oh shit. I get too excited and I talk with my hands. Here's the thing though, Stan. Here's the thing. It is art though. It's art kind of made in bad faith because you're not doing it to make a statement or anything. But you did make something. You did make something interesting. And I bet subconsciously there's something in there, right? It is art. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It is art. You're an artist. Like me, I'm complimenting you. About your past. You're really interested in me, huh? Yes. Or do you ask everyone these kind of questions? Oh. Twirls hair, looks away bashfully. I'm mainly interested in you. Alright, you ever heard of smuggling pigs or pugs? Oh god. No? Exactly. That's because everyone in the business is good at keeping secrets. Really good. So why am I telling you now? I'm out of the business. I don't care. This absolutely isn't so that if the authorities question you, you'll give them false information that leads them off my trail. Right. Stan loads you up with false information that may or may not contain kernels of truth within them. It's surprisingly hard to tell whether the crazier parts are embellishment or the real deal. Stan tips his head back to get that final sip of pit, and then sits his empty can down with an air of finality. Well, Satyr, you did good for your first try. If you feel like helping me around again sometime, Returning the favor on the car. Let me know. Every day. I'm moving here. You nod, and Stan gets up to leave when you remember something. Wait, I still owe you the price of admission, right? For the tour earlier? Nah, don't worry about it. Stan Pines giving something away for free? Oh, gives me something to hold over me if I need it. That seems more reasonable. But it also seems like a lie. It also seems like you might like me, Stan. That's what I'm going to believe. I'm delusional. He says that, and he leaves. But even from what little you've seen from him, you feel like Stan's not the type to really hold that over you. At least, not for anything serious. You don't know Stan, because that's absolutely something he would do. This tourist trap might have more to offer than you thought. Love meter, this is so cute. This is so cute, stop. You wake up to a loud crash downstairs. Not entirely uncommon in this house. You're quickly finding out, but it's still disconcerting. More clatters and thumps lead you to the kitchen, where Mabel teeters on a short stepladder in front of the pantry. Standing on her tiptoes, she reaches as high as she can for a small yellow box on the top shelf. Pancake mix. Without a word, you go to her side and pluck the box from the shelf for her, placing it on her outstretched hand. Oh, Seder! Thank you! Grunkle Stan put it on the top shelf for some reason, but I need some Mabel cakes. It's a breakfast emergency. She waggles her free fingers in your face, and you couldn't help but laugh. But you can tell the house becomes a lot more alive when this kid's around. Want to help me make them? We only need chocolate milk, coffee, pink food coloring, and pot of Goldos to make this breakfast dream a breakfast reality. As delicious as that sounds, you're inclined to ask where the coffee comes into mix when you realize the house is suspiciously quiet. Mabel, where is everybody? Oh, Grunkle Stan needed stuff for your car, so he went to the Mechie Techie stuff or whatever. Oh, Mechie Techie stuff for that. I think Grunkle Ford's somewhere. He heard the abominable bro man was trying to steal soda from campers, so we went to help them out. Yep, that's where he went. Totally knew that. So they left you guys to make breakfast on your own? You don't know the family well enough to know if this is commonplace, so the idea of leaving two teenagers alone to fend for themselves seems fine. If one of these teenagers wasn't Mabel anyway. You still don't know how the coffee fits into her Mabel cakes, but now you don't really want to know. Dipper attempts to hide the pancake mix from Mabel while she's grabbing the chocolate milk from the fridge. Apparently, he doesn't want to find out either. Mabel, while your Mabel cakes sound absolutely divine, why don't we... Quick, think of something so you don't hurt her feelings. Let's go out for breakfast! Is there somewhere we can go out for breakfast? We really should save the Mabel cakes till your great-uncle gets back. I know they wouldn't want to miss them. But I want to perfect my recipe. I have to get better at cooking and baking and stuff so I can survive out there in the real world. What if in high school I have to bake stuff and people are better than me? Gasp. Mabel looks very agitated, tugging at her hair with both hands. If I don't make the perfect Mabel cakes, I can never be on Bad Dreams Dining. I gotta impress Gerald Rambone, Seder. It's my destiny. Oh no, but if I tell Dipper to cook, then it's gonna hurt her feelings way more. Oh, Lord. What do we want to do? I mean, there's literally no option, but I don't want to do it. Dipper, can you cook? Maybe Dipper can help you make something different. We should save the Mabel cakes for another day. A more special day. But Seder... Mabel, still standing on the stepladder, reaches up and squishes your cheeks together, her eyes wide and staring into your soul. Every day is a special day with Mabel cakes. You glance at Dipper, making a please help me and I'll buy breakfast face, and hope he understands. Yeah, Mabel, I know you were wanting to cook more since cook more since you're becoming an adult. Sure, but you don't think Grunkle Stan and Great Uncle Ford should be here to try them too? And not just me? Again? Mabel hops off the stepladder and ponders her brother's question, lips pursed. Eventually she nods, beaming at you both. You're right, Dipper. I can't deny them that experience. You give Dipper a thankful smile over Mabel's head, and she puts the ingredients back in the refrigerator. He grins back at you, rubbing the back of his neck. You wonder if he got that from one of his grunkles. That's clever, now that you think about it. Great plus uncle to make grunkle. Saves time on syllables. We should go to Greasy's. They have some of the best pancakes there, with like 3 different kinds of syrup if you ask Lazy Susan nicely. Yeah, it's not super far. Let's go. The kids are about to head out of the kitchen when you realize something. Wait, aren't you going to leave a note for your grunkles about where you're going? Oh, right, good call. Dipper scribbles out a note for Stan and Ford and sticks it to the front door of the shack with one of Mabel's stickers. Maggot, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. The kids lead the way towards the town, explaining various landmarks and the wild and wonderful stories attached to them along the way. And this is where we saw those 2 ghostly old people. In a convenience store? Strange, but you nod regardless. Maybe she just meant they were so old, they looked like ghosts. Dipper points out the diner in the distance, a log-shaped building atop a train cart, and the three of you head inside. You soon realize the kids know just about everything in this town. Everyone in this town. Several people, young and old, wave at them as the 3 of you find a table, and you get the feeling they're almost famous in Gravity Falls, though you're not entirely sure why. They're pretty cute though. Mabel blows the paper wrapper of the straw at Dipper's face, and he retaliates by swatting at her with the laminated menu. An elderly woman in pastel pink waitress dress comes up to the table, and you catch the name on her name tag, Susan. Hiya kids, and stranger, what can I get for you? Pancakes and all 3 syrups for me, please, Lazy Susan. Same for me, actually. Lazy Susan turns to you, notepad in hand. Ooh, we are all getting pancakes, but listen, chat. I'm a waffles guy, myself. I really like waffles. I think the texture is better. I think that it's the convenient little holes that the syrup sits in so it doesn't become as soggy. Scrambled eggs and bacon is good. Very wholesome, very well-rounded. But I am gonna get waffles. Coming right up, sweetie. Lazy Susan winks, with her good eye, of course. Oh, so she just blinks. And heads back to the diner. The wait for your food to arrive feels longer than most, mainly due to Mabel and Dipper using this time to interrogate you. At first, it's somewhat intimidating. You literally crashed into their house and start hanging out with their great uncles, so they have lots of questions. Once the irrational fear of 2 13-year-olds fades out, you realize their interview for what it really is. They care about their grunkles. If you do start hanging out with them more, they want to know as much about you as possible. Mabel's questions are somewhat nonsensical. So if you were stranded on a deserted island with no boat, no cheating, what would you take with you? While Dippers are more careful and calculated. What were you doing before you came here? School, work, both, neither? Did you know about Gravity Falls before you crashed into the shack? You immediately know which grunkle each twin takes after. Stan and Mabel, goofy partners in crime, versus the quiet brainiacs. Ford and Dipper. It's an intriguing contrast, especially now that you're thrown in the middle of the bunch. But as the twins race to see which syrup bottle drips into their mouth the fastest, Dipper's blueberry syrup beats Mabel's classic maple by half a millisecond. You swear on it. You know that these kids do a lot more for their great uncle than just be cute counterparts. And there we go. Enjoy, kiddos. Let me know if you need anything else. Lazy Susan gives out the respective plates and the kids go quiet, shoveling down their food like they've never been fed before. Between mouthfuls, you get a few more questions about yourself and your theories on aliens versus which member of M Synchronize was your favorite, but the table is near silent as the 3 of you eat. That is, until Maple speaks up through a mouthful of pancakes. So, Satyr, if, in a totally made-up and not real situation, you had to pick who your favorite was, who would you pick? Grunkle Stan or Grunkle Ford? This seems too planned compared to her cutesy questions. Her other cutesy questions. Jesus. Take a shot. Take a shot every time I ruin reading things. Dipper elbows his sister not so subtly, and she elbows him right back, wide eyes staring at him in a sibling-linked look you can't decipher. Like, say you're in a movie. Like one of these weird movies Grunkle Stan watches on TV with the ladies in poofy dresses and riding horses. Take a shot of water because I'm not trying to go to the hospital. Oh my god. True. You're right. Awfully specific, but you let her continue, taking another bite of your food. You're the main character of this movie, and you get two guys who are both madly in love with you. Oh my god. Are they? Did they say something? Maple, did they say something to you? You gotta be real with me, sister. You gotta tell me. Okay, we're gonna scoot this a little bit farther over. I know I said that I wasn't gonna move, but I do feel like maybe we scoot the chair mostly out of the way. There we go. We can see a little better now. Cool. Alright. Anyway. This one doesn't mess around with getting right to the point, huh? But you could only marry one of them, so you could be the next in line for the throne. What would you do? If Grunkle Stan and Grunkle Ford were your choices, who would you go with? Mabel, that's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, really weird and kind of gross. Come on, Dipper! This is the most important information that's vital to my research. What research? None of your business. Yet. I'm still gathering other research. Mabel leans toward Dipper's ear to whisper, waggling her brow at you before she replies, in not a whisper, but quite the opposite. Research into how you're a huge nerd. With that, Mabel catapults the spoonful of melted butter from atop her pancakes onto Dipper's cheek with a very satisfying splat. Dipper jerks in disgust but retaliates by smearing strawberry syrup on Mabel's nose, a drop of stickiness plopping onto her sweater. Ew, gross! You're gross. The creator of this game did a really good job writing the characters. It definitely feels super canon. There's no vitriol between the twins, but lots of giggles and a few more various food missiles. Eventually, syrup streaks Mabel's collarbones, Jesus. I can't read. Streaks Mabel's cheekbones and some of her hair, and Dipper has a small piece of pancake stuck to his face. You guys are dorks. Maybe you're right, but we're twins, so it's adorable. If you say so, Mabel. Wait, quick, Satyr, take a picture of us while Dipper's got pancakes on his face. I have what? He swipes quickly at his face after several passes, gets it off. Aw, I was trying to get more candid pictures of us. Mabel, you have syrup everywhere. Really? Then it would have been a perfect photo. Here, let me get it. Your hands are sticky enough. You get back up with a napkin in hand and try to wipe some of the syrup off Mabel's cheek. Mabel's cheek! The excess syrup wipes off easily, but a good portion doesn't budge. I mean, maybe syrup is as makeup is the next new look. That's one word for it, kid. Oh my god, hi Stan! We wondered where you went once we came back to a suspiciously quiet house. If it weren't for Dipper's note, we would have been worried. Sixer would have been worried. I tried to tell him you kids pull this kind of stuff all the time, heading out unannounced, putting stress on your poor old Grunkle's heart. OMG, yes, they're back, yes. So excited. He puts a hand over his heart dramatically. All those missing hours of unpaid child labor. Actually, that note wasn't me. Well, I wrote it, but Satyr's the one who said we should so that you'd know where we went. Both Ford and Stan turned to look at you, surprised. Why do you look... That's not the right kind of surprised. They look horrified. Why are you that kind of surprised? I know that it's just the limited sprites to work with, but that's funny. Really? Figure those two knuckleheads dragged you here. Why not make breakfast at home? This place is at least a 15-minute walk from the shack. Well, you glance at Dipper, swiping his finger across Mabel's cheek and licking the blueberry syrup off. Mabel has a pancake in her mouth, chewing on it like a grazing sheep. I wanted to treat them to something, I guess. It's the least I can do. You're letting me stay with you and fixing my car. I thought since you were gone, I'd take these two out for a change. Also, Mabel was about to make Mabel cakes again. You're just mad you can't even make toast right. What? Yes, I can. I burned it one time. One time. Dipper holds up his syrup-tipped finger in the air, indignant. Sorry, taking a sip of coffee. Okay, back at it again. Well, Mabel wanted you guys to enjoy her Mabel cakes too, and since there wasn't much food, I figured I'd take them out. Ford asks Mabel about her creation, wondering how much extra caffeine one could gain from adding instant coffee to the concoction, but Stan stays quiet. You catch him out of the corner of your eye. He's staring at you, a lopsided smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. Oh my god! Stop. Thanks, Sater. Appreciate it. You're so welcome, Stan. Look at the little blush. God, Toral's hair. You're so welcome. Oh, no problem at all. He's blushing! I know. You smile warmly at Stan, despite the heat spreading over your cheeks. But he's rubbing the back of his neck, looking down at his feet. Guys, stop. Mabel throws a theoretical wink your way. Not sure why. A theatrical, not theoretical. Well, kid, if you're paying, scoot over, Dipper. I want breakfast too. I'll absolutely buy you breakfast. Stanley, it's at least 12:30 now. Grunkle Ford, that means it's time for brunch. Duh. See? This kid gets me. Now let me in so I can get some grub. Dipper moves to your side of the booth and Stan sits next to Mabel, and Ford sits at Dipper's side. Lazy Susan comes back and takes orders for another round of food and drinks for everyone, including Mabel, who decided she wants more pancakes. Y'all are just not worried about my wallet at all. They said, oh, you're paying? Bet. You're starting to regret offering to pay, but as Stan and Mabel try their hand at the syrup drip race, with Dipper cheering them on. Stan! Oh my god, not Stan playing the game. Ford watching with a wide grin on his face. You know you don't really mind that much. Over the next few days, you continue to help out around the Mystery Shack. Not out of obligation, but because you have nothing better to do. Besides, Seuss, practically the golden retriever of people, is really digging the input on the current installments of From an Outsider's Perspective. Bless his soul, the guy even offered you a job if you end up stranded here forever, dude. And you needed to make a life for yourself. Stan nearly choked on his ice pop as he overheard. Is that right? Did he? Is that an interesting thought for you, Stan? If I were to decide to stay? If I were to impulsively decide to leave my entire life behind and come live with you and just escape real life entirely? Is that something that you would be, like, interested in? Okay. Good to know, okay. Thinking about it now, the relationship between Seuss and Stan is unexpected. If not a little odd, but it makes you smile that no matter how many times Stan may roll his eyes as he does it, he'll always help Seuss get something done just right. Showered and dressed, you go outside as per usual. But you don't see anyone. After a few minutes search, you find Stan standing with his back to you in one of the exhibit rooms, admiring the weird and wonderful animal amalgamates he's collected for his tourist trap, hand at his chin in thought. Am I interrupting something between you and Gooserky? Stan turns at the sound of your voice, smiling. Nope, you need something? You have any plans tonight? Am I asking him out? Wait a second. Hold on, let me adjust my hair. I wasn't ready. He mulls over your question a few moments, giving you an assessing look up and down. I've got a couple errands to run. Why? You want to tag along? Sure, sounds like fun, only if you need a partner in crime. Depends on what kind of errands you've got in mind. Actually, I'm gonna go see what Ford's up to today. No, we're not going to see what Ford's up to today. I'll do a different run for Ford. We are running and gunning for Stan. We are after Stan. Ford can wait. Only if you need a partner in crime. Stan blinks in surprise. What are you, psychic? Maybe. I also may stand first. Stand with Stan. Exactly. We stand with Stan. I stand Stan. Wait, really? It was just a figure of speech, but I guess you should have known better. Alright, I'm heading out in a couple of hours. Meet me out front. A couple of hours? But no buts, Satyr. Can't rush this stuff, trust me. Okay, sure. Not ominous at all, Stan. Yeah, meet me out front if you think you can handle it. Oh, I can handle it. He turns to go, but stops for a second and turns back. Oh, and we're black. Something you don't mind getting dirty. Jesus, what are we doing? Wait a second. What are we talking about? And before you can ask why, he's gone, into the depths of the shack. What are we gonna do, Stan? A couple of hours turn into a handful. Yes, which pass you by. Okay, rewind, starting over. A couple of hours turns into a handful, which you pass by while watching some TV, with Mabel and Dipper and dozing off. You have no idea what kind of satellite they get here, but the shows on now are some of the most bizarre programming you've ever seen. Once you've had enough of waiting, you change into your darkest clothes and sit out on the front steps of the shack, watching as the sun starts to sink past the trees. It's cloudy and unusually warm for this time of day, but there's a nice breeze out. It's strange that these errands need to happen so late in the day, considering the things you've gathered about his criminal past. However, maybe this is a typical weekday night for Stan. The screen door creaks out and fuck, Jesus Christ, dude. The screen door creaks and out comes Stan, dressed in all black just like you are, with a lumpy duffel bag under one arm and a briefcase in the other hand. Stan, what are we doing? What am I getting into? As he's about to speak, a sudden gust of wind comes along and ruffles his hair, and he smooths it down irritatedly before regaining his cool and nodding at you. Ready? Ready. I'm not ready. I'm actually not ready. Can we back up a little bit? You slide into the passenger seat as Stan settles into the driver's seat. It takes a couple tries to start, but the engine's chugging away by the time you've got your seatbelt on. The radio stammers to life as the engine does, spitting out generic-sounding rock music into the leather-scented air of the car's interior. After a moment spent adjusting mirrors and fiddling with knobs, Stan slots the gear shift into drive and pulls out of the Mystery Shack's lot down the road to town. What are we gonna steal? My heart? You could just have it, Stan. Exactly. You don't gotta do all that. Ooh, hello. Hi. I'm just gonna let this play for a second. I just wanna take this in. This is a good view. This is a great view. The radio's on, and Stan taps his fingers on the steering wheel to the beat of the music while he drives. I love the art of this game. Have I told y'all that I love the art of this game? For no particular reason. So I take it we're not making a trip for milk and eggs? Stan laughs and glances over at you. Nope. Oh my god, stop. Then where are we going? First stop is to see a buddy of mine, a hunter. I get all my taxidermy supplies from him. That's where you get your parts from? Yeah? Oh, I just figured you got them from some local farm or something. And do business with those hippies? Not a chance. Well, I really enjoyed making that showpiece with you the other day. I had no idea you were so creative. He glanced over at you with a poorly hidden surprise, turning almost immediately back to the road and shrugging. It's just gluing stuff together, really. No, really, it takes a lot of skill. I said this earlier in the stream. It's art. You're making art, Stanley. You have a real gift for it. He turns to you again and his cheeks go a little pink when he sees the smile you're giving him. Stop! Well, thanks. After a moment, he faces the road again, but he's tapping out the rhythm of the song with a little more enthusiasm, even humming the chorus as he drives. This is sickeningly cute. I'm gonna barf. But I love it. Do you have any other hobbies? Cheap flattery will get you everywhere. Yes, I've been saying that from the start. That's how you win Stan over. He rolls his shoulders back in a shrug, his head tilting off a bit towards the window. Jeez, brain. These days I spend most of my time out on the boat with Ford, hunting monsters, discovering things. He pauses, watching the road without explanation. I used to box, that's true. Ooh. Both a pretty good option. I feel like it shows as kind of flattery. Flattery gets you everywhere. That's what I've been saying. And that's the strat I've been going for in this game. I have a feeling you kind of just win no matter what you do. This is more of a novel than... Like, I don't think you can make them dislike you. I should try to make them dislike me on another run. I'm curious. But we're gonna say it shows. He looks at you again, grinning. See? See, that's what I'm saying. That's amazing. I wish I had grown up on doing something like that. I, wouldn't mind showing you a few things. Oh? 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 What are we talking about? What are we talking about? I don't think that I would be any good at it. But I would like to give it a try. If it's you showing me. Pearl's hair. After about 20 minutes of rural scenery, 20 minutes? This is a small town. Where are we driving for 20 minutes? Stan pulls off the road onto a long gravel driveway that disappears into the woods. Is this the place? Stan nods and rounds a turn to reveal a clearing populated by a trailer home and a couple of sheds. The trailer is a bit run down and shabby, and one of the sheds look like it's about one strong sneeze away from collapsing. Thank you for the likes over there on TikTok. Thank you so much. Not really the place you wanted to be at night while alone with a guy you practically just met. I actually was just thinking that from the perspective, like if this was not a dating game, this is an insane thing to do. First of all, you should never just stay with a bunch of strangers. Like, he actively crashed your car and you're like, yeah, you know what? I am going to stay at your house with you with no escape. Also, I am going to wait around for you to take me to a very sketchy, secluded place 20 minutes away, deep into the woods. All of this seems like such a good idea. Very smart. Very mindful, very demure. Be honest. Did you bring me here to murder me? See, exactly. Now we're asking the real questions. Now we're asking the real questions. Stan laughs, cutting the engine and resting his arm on the back of the front seat. I love when drivers do that. Unfortunately, you figured it out. So now I definitely gotta kill you. Oh, Lord, don't say that. Murder? What murder? I'm kidding, kid. Relax. Don't joke about that, because this actually is a horrific position to be in. Don't joke like that. He moves out to get out of the car, then turns back with a creepy, blank expression on his face. Or am I? Stan's dumb. You chuckle nervously, and he laughs again, pushing the door open. Seriously, I'm kidding. Won't be long. At the door to the trailer, Stan knocks and opens on a dark interior before he walks inside. The door shuts behind him. You give the yard a few curious glances before realizing the weird pile of sticks you've been looking at is actually bones. So this doesn't at all seem like he's going to murder me. You quickly pull out your phone and look at instead. 10 minutes later, fuck. Take a shot. 10 minutes later and stands back, carrying a large cardboard box in both hands. You see him fumble with the handle of the rear left door for a moment before you reach back over the seat and pop it open for him. A peek in the box reveals a few various shades of furry somethings and an animal skull you don't recognize. This doesn't seem like something worth busting out all your darkest duds for. We aren't by any chance robbing a bank, are we? Because I should have brought gloves. Stan laughs. No, nothing like that. He starts up the car again, and you're back on the road. Somehow, I'm not quite convinced. Well, who knows where the night's gonna take us? Could be legal, could be not. That a problem? See, this is the point in a dating game about a character that you have to ask yourself. It's like, okay, well, how true to myself am I gonna be? Because the real answer is, it's a little bit of a problem. The ride or die with Stan answer is obviously nope, or can we swing by a jeweler? So, we have to ask ourselves, deep in our heart and soul, how badly do we want to impress Stan Pines? Are we willing to sacrifice our own personal identity for the sake of romancing a stinky 70-year-old fat man? And the answer is yes, I'm going to. It's not a problem, Stan. When in Rome, right? Absolutely, without question. Exactly. You get it. You understand. You get me. Stan takes the highway. The final minutes of the sun sets burnt orange and purple ahead of you, while the welcome sign for Gravity Falls disappears into the rearview mirror. A new song comes on the radio, something bright and bouncy with lyrics about love, and his fingers get back to tapping. In the retreating light, you can see faded patches of the rim of the steering wheel, the color worn away from decades worth of his touch. The passenger seat you sit in hasn't yet taken the shape of someone specific. Even after all this time, the springs still felt brand new. Oh, that's kind of sad, actually. But it's okay. I'll make a little butt print. Meanwhile, on the driver's side of the car, Stan settled easily into his seat, which fits him as well as a finely tailored jacket. You tuck your leg up under... Take a shot. You tuck your leg up under its mate, leaning back into the dark leather of the DeVille's interior, and watch cars pass and recede without the wind... Oh. Yep. After a few minutes of the music-backed silence, you feel like breaking it. We've asked about him a lot. I feel like it's gonna... they've been using the word interrogation, and that's apt. I don't know that I want to keep asking questions. Let's tell a joke. I'm a jokester. I'm a comedian. Oh god, I have to pick a joke? Oh lord. Me, I'm a comedian. I'm so funny. What do you mean I have to come up with a joke? Why do chicken coops have 2 doors? Why are there fences around graveyards? My granddad had the heart of a lion. The fact that I actually don't know the punchlines of any of these jokes. Oh, you can go back? I'm nervous to go back. Let's save. We haven't saved in a while. Oh, I love that icon. Okay, anyway. Oh, Lord, excuse the burp. My granddad had a heart of a lion. Stan glances at you. Stan glances over at you, momentarily confused as to why you're bringing this up. And a lifetime ban from the zoo. Stan laughs. Ha, that's pretty good. He thinks for a minute, presumably to come up with a joke of his own. Alright, a blonde walks into a bank in New York City. Oh no, this is gonna be one of those awful blondes are dumb jokes, is it? He levels a withering look on you. Can I tell the joke? I don't know, can you? God, stop. You grin with your lower lip caught between your teeth, clearly joking as he chuckles. Anyways, a blonde walks into a bank in New York. She goes up to the bank manager and she says, I'd like to take out a loan for $5,000. I'm taking a vacation overseas. A car passes you on the highway going 20 over the speed limit, and Stan swears and then stifles it. Allie, you're familiar with that. You're familiar with that little situation. Yeesh, night drivers. So the bank manager goes, well, miss, do you have collateral? We need collateral for that kind of loan. And she nods and says she does, and she takes the bank manager out to the parking lot where she's got a $50,000 Ferrari waiting. She says, this is my car. You can hold on to it until I pay back my loan. Stan continues, glancing over at you, trying to suppress a smile. The bank manager's confused, but he figures if this lady doesn't pay, he's gonna have a nice new Ferrari in his garage, so he agrees. Sign for an exit points off to the right, the text saying, County Road 328, and Stan takes it off the highway. So he gives the blonde her 5 Gs, she hands him the keys to her car, and she heads off to Europe. Take a shot. I can't speak. A month later, she shows back up to the bank with 5 Gs and the interest for the loan, which figures out to about $15. Stan continues, turning down... Okay, Jesus Christ. I was doing so well for so long. Stan continues, turning down an unlit gravel road, the headlights casting spooky shadows through the trees. The bank manager takes the repayment for the loan and the interest and has one of his employees bring the car out front of the bank for the blonde. Out ahead on the road, a deer turns its face to the car and then leaps across the road to disappear into the woods. Just before she leaves, the bank manager stops the blonde and says, Lady, I'm real confused here. You're clearly loaded enough to afford this car, and you paid back the loan and then some. Why take out the loan if you're so rich? The lady turns to him, runs a hand through her hair, and says, Where else can I park my car in New York City for 2 weeks for only $15? Yeah, I'm starting to I recognize it too. It's been a long time though. I forgot until the very end. It's funny. Since I've heard it before, it didn't make me laugh, but it's good. You burst into wild laughter, and he laughs along with you. Alright, I take it back. That was the best blonde joke I've ever heard in my life. Just as you finish speaking, Stan pulls off to the side of the road, and the engine dies. As you step out of the car, the unearthly silence of the woods envelops the two of you. Out in the woods ahead, you see a single bright light. Is this the place? Just about it. Or just about. You follow him back towards the truck, which he opens quietly and slowly, frowning as it squeaks. What are we doing here? That's a great question, Satyr. That is a great question. Pat yourself on the back. Pat. You might not guess it looking at me, but I got a thing. What, huh? The two of you stare at each other for a moment, and he looks a little nervous. For art. Oh my god! Yay! What you're doing is art, Stan! I told you! Oh my god, this is so wholesome. Really? I do too! He brightens, smiling in the dim haze of the trunk light. Well, this jump up this hill has won by this artist, Gustav Yep. Snuck it from right out under me at an auction. I've been trying to buy it off him for years, but the jerk won't sell no matter how much I offer him. And trust me, you meet this guy, you know it's out of spite. So we're stealing it? You got it, kid. did try to buy it first. Exactly. Stan, whoops, okay. We're saving. Them's the rules. Return. Stan laughs quietly, fishing around in the duffel bag for you don't know what. Wait till you see it. It's a masterpiece. I've been waiting 6 months for him to go out of town. Here, take these. He pulls a pair of gloves from the bag, handing them to you. When you slide them on, they fit almost perfectly. I guess your size right? Oh, so you've been looking. You've been observing. Interesting. That's so interesting. Anyway. Stan chuckles, pulling on a pair of his own. A set of black leather driving gloves with silver snap closures that glint in the light from the trunk. You ready, kid? As I'll ever be. Stan tucks a few things into the inner pockets of his jacket you can't see in the low light, and with the trunk shut just as quietly as it opened, you follow him into the woods towards the distant light. As you near it, a porch takes shape with the light's glow. Behind it, the dark shape of a house sits in the even darker woods. Stan leads you past the front porch and around the corner of the house to a set of stairs that appears to lead to the basement. Ah, this is my favorite part. He withdraws a small black shape from his pocket and something that looks like it might be a pen. The pen-shaped thing turns out to be a small flashlight, and he holds it with his teeth as he opens the black case to reveal a set of lockpicking tools. You're a lucky person, kid. You get to see the artist in action. Yeah, I am. He gets to work inserting one tool in and wiggling it to the bottom of the keyhole, and then pulling out another and poking the innards of the lock with it. You glance around in the darkness as he works, half expecting to get caught before you get anywhere. But then the lock clicks and Stan stands, that's hard to say, opening the door. Take a shot. Opening the door for you with a flourish. That was so cool. You're so cool, Stan. He beams with pride, and you smile politely as you step through the door in front of him. The basement is unlit, and it smells like dust and mildew, the air sour with wet dirt and mold. Stan moves past you in the dark, his little pen flashlight still lit, and leads you through a cobwebby laundry room and towards a door across from the bottom of a rickety wooden set of stairs. Wait till you see this, kid. Stop calling me kid. Take me seriously. Stomps foot. I'm not a kid. He picks the lock of the door just as quickly as he picked the last, and the door creaks open into a dark room with odd flooring barely lit by Stan's flashlight. Stan goes first, and as you follow him in, he hits a light switch, revealing a beautifully designed gallery with plush scarlet carpets and gleaming wood paneling full of paintings of sad clowns. Stan looks more excited than you've seen him yet, his arms crossed over his chest and a warm smile on his face. Can you believe that hillbilly chump has a collection like this? You shake your head slowly, still looking around the room with wide eyes. Someday, all these are gonna be mine. Come on, I'll show you the one we're here to get. You follow him to the back of the room, and he stops in front of a large painting of a clown with bright red lips and blue circles on his cheeks, his eyes outlined in black, with comically large eyelashes painted onto his eyelids. His neck ruff droops sadly, and his costume is dingy and worn. What do you think? This is beautiful. You really like this kind of thing? No kidding? I kinda don't. I love art. But sad clowns is pretty freaking niche, my man. But like I said earlier in stream, we're here to sell our souls. We're here to totally disregard our own our own thoughts, feelings, and personality, and shape only to what Stan wants. Stan is forever. Self-identity is temporary. Stan's voice edged with hope. They're all beautifully done. It's nice to meet someone who really appreciates these like I do. It's just plain excellent. I love the irony. Clowns are supposed to be happy, but he's not. I wish I knew the story behind it. You look over at Stan, and he looks delighted. Hot Belgian waffles, you really do like it. Well, let's get this thing off the wall and out of here. As he works to get the art off the wall, you wander the room looking at the other paintings. As you look over a portrait of a mime with dirt on his white and black striped shirt, you're suddenly grabbed by your shoulders. Boo! Ag! You scream. Eyes shut in fears, you throw a weak karate chop at the source of the noise, making unimpressive contact with something solid and muscular. Oh, muscular, twirls hair. After a moment's... Okay. Save. Them's the rules. Stan, please, let's kiss right now. It's a great time for it. We are moments from getting caught, but I mean, the lighting is just so romantic. There's such a good mood with all these sad clowns around us. After a moment's panic, you squeeze whatever the thing is with your hands and open your eyes, finding, was that supposed to hurt me? Stan's arm and shoulder. Boy, he's really packing some heat in there. Wow. Oh, maybe this is a good moment. He laughs, apparently very pleased with himself for scaring the absolute life out of you. You need those boxing tips more than I thought. You could defend yourself from a fly with moves like that. You laugh shakily, and that's when you realize you're still feeling up Stan's arm. Sorry about that. You pull your hands away a bit too fast, and he chuckles, blushing all the way up to his ears. Aww. No problem, kid. Stop calling me kiddo. He clears his throat. Oh my god, hi, Scotty! Welcome! We're simping. We're simping here. How are you? How you doing today? He clears his throat, and the silence between you begins to grow awkward before it's interrupted. Upstairs, in what is supposed to be an empty house, you hear footsteps crossing towards the door basement. I like simping. I'm chilling. Good. Welcome, then. If you like simping, you're on the right Twitch channel. Upstairs, in what's supposed to be an empty house, you hear footsteps crossing towards the door to the basement. Stan apparently hears them too, a sudden series of expressions crossing his face from shock to confusion to terror, and finally setting into indignation. He quickly takes you by the arm, whispering harshly in your ear as he drags you towards the entrance of the clown room. Thank you, I worked very hard on it. Whew, my goodness, I was working literally all the way to, like, the day before the debut, like, because I originally had them with elf ears, and then I realized that the goat ears would be way cuter, so I very hastily added them. So yeah. Thank you. As soon as he comes in here, shut the door and I'll shove these boxes in front. You nod, and just as line of sight from the top of the stairs blooms into a wide swath, you and Stan duck behind a wall near the door to freedom, one corner of the stolen painting poking you uncomfortably in the ribs. Who's down there? Slippered feet come down the wooden steps ahead of you, and when their owner notices the light on, he holds something long and gun-shaped in front of himself. Pines, if that's you, I swear to God, I'm really gonna shoot you this time. Gun-shaped? Gun-shaped? Gun? Gun! Stan nudges you, jabbing a thumb towards the door leading outside, and jerks his head towards it. You take a step out from behind the wall, take Stan's hand. Hi, oh my god, we're holding hands. Sure, our life is in danger, but we're holding hands. You take a step out from behind the wall, take Stan's hand in your own, and pull him into a jog, and then run, the two of you scrambling up the concrete steps into the cool night air as a voice shouts swears behind you. Stan kicks the door shut on his way out, and there's a startled yelp behind you as it makes contact with the owner of the house. There's more swearing, but you lose it behind you as you run, flashlight in one hand, Stan's hand in the other. Oh my god, right? We're holding hands. What's happening right now, Stan? What's happening? When you reach the tree line, you part and maneuver your way through the bushes and brambles, Stan crashing through them behind you. As you run, a deafening gunshot goes off behind you, and you realize you're being chased. Holy smokes, run for it, Satyr! The noises get closer, close enough that you can hear your pursuer swearing continuously and loudly. You slow a bit, flashing your light behind you, and raising a beam to find the distant but visibly enraged face of a man with a rifle in his hands. Acting on pure instinct, you fling the flashlight in the direction of the angry man and take off running again. After a moment, the man cries out, and the sounds of pursuit fade with one final cry. Damn you, Pines! Stan cackles. Sounds like you hit him. You reach the Stanmobile first, sliding into the passenger seat as Stan slips his new art that I'm not trying to pronounce into the back seat before joining you in front, both of you panting and huffing. Stan hurriedly starts the engine and pulls off. God, I love the art of this scene. At the next driveway, oh man, panting and huffing, oh my god, stop, that's crazy. So soon? At the next driveway, he does the fastest three-point turn you've ever seen in your life, and then peels off the gravel road and screeches out into the highway. Stands quiet for a second before letting loose into a wild, triumphant laughter. I thought he was gonna catch me that time for sure. Did a man just shoot at us? Stan nods, still chuckling and apparently pretty pleased he didn't get hit. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased too. I'm pleased isn't a great descriptor for, like, not getting shot. I think there are other words that you could use to describe that. He lets out a long, loud sigh, his white-knuckled hands turn at 10 and 2 on the steering wheel. Yeah, that was holy moly. You okay, Satyr? Yes, Stan, friendly reminder, we met like a couple of days ago. And you just dragged me in the woods to get shot at. Yeah, a little shaky, but I'm good. I'll let you know when I find out. I think I'm gonna head back now. That was a lot. What do we want to say? Yeah, a little shaky, but I'm good. That seems like something I would say. I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. He pulls back into the highway, back in the direction you came from, and you lapse into comfortable silence. After a while, he starts humming along with the radio, and, knowing the song this time, you hum along with him. Gravity Falls' welcome sign passes by again, but the route Stan's taking doesn't seem to lead back to the shack. Instead, you come to a stop outside rows and rows of used car. A car dealership. Stan slides out of the car, withdrawing something from a pocket within the breast of his jacket. Once you get out and around to the front bumper, you can see that it's a cigar. Mind if I smoke? Again, this is another situation we have to ask ourselves, what are we willing to put up with for the sake of impressing Stan Pines? And the answer, as always, is I have no dignity or pride. Exactly, put up with everything. The reality is I don't like being around smokers. I don't like smoke, cigar, cigarette, any kind like that. But, I mean, if Stan wants to smoke, that's okay. It's just a cigar. They say that that's better than cigarettes anyway. Thanks. I don't like smoking around kids, you know? Stop calling me a kid. I'm not a kid. Stamp's foot. I'm already enough of a bad influence. Oh, okay, I get it. He's talking about the twins. He's saying he can't smoke around them, but he's gonna smoke around me. Okay, I was like, this is getting weird. He chuckles and withdraws a pack of matches from his pocket, and his face is bathed in the light of the flame. From your place a ways down the road, Stan surveys the lot, eyes sweeping back and forth until they land on what looks to be a fuse box under the dark overhang of the roof on the far side of the dealership. What are we getting? New drive belt, some spark plugs, a couple of other things I can't remember the name of and aren't worth explaining. Oh my god, so he's stealing the parts for my car. Works for me. That's what you get when you date a criminal, I guess. It won't take all night though, right? He shakes his head, taking a long drag from the cigar, smoke rolling off his lips and into the night. You lean back against the front bumper of the car next to him and stuff your hands in your pockets. There isn't much light pollution around here, so the stars are bright and numerous above. How kind of him to get fresh parts straight from the lot. Exactly. You know they work. You know they work. They were just in a car. That's the logic I'm going with, because I'm delusional. Provided your car gets fixed up, this might not turn out to be such a bad trip. You take a deep breath in through your nose, the smell of sweet, heady cigar. Is that how you say that? Heady? Heady. It's heady. Cigar, smokes, and crisp night air filling your lungs. So, how are we doing this? We gotta get rid of the lights. I doubt Bud's clever enough to have night vision cameras. He laughs a little as he speaks, smoke blowing out into the night with each individual laugh. But we cut the power to the whole place, the cameras are gonna be gone anyways. So we cut the power, find a car the same make and model as yours, and I dig out the parts your car needs. An hour, maybe an hour and a half tops. I can get the lights. Stan turns his head and looks at you, waving away a fresh cloud of smoke as he accidentally exhales in your direction. You sure? Yeah, I got it. The two of you stand there in silence for a few minutes before he bends down and grinds his cigar Take a shot. The two of you stand there in silence after a few more minutes before he bends down and grinds his cigar cold on the asphalt, straightening with a groan and a huff of quiet laughter. Yeesh, starting to remember why I quit doing this kind of thing. You sure you're alright with this kid? You know, robbing the place? You think I can do it? No, that's not it. You've been keeping up with me just fine all night, you just don't seem like you have a lot of experience here. You would be right. But, for those of you who know me personally, you might know that my motto is blind delusional confidence. No, I don't know how to do it. But, if I just pretend I knew the entire time, then it's fine, I'll figure it out, I'm a smart guy. I'll just figure it out on the way and pretend that I totally knew from the get-go exactly what I was doing. Well, I'm not gonna say I'm nervous. I think I've got plenty of experience tonight alone. I think that's accurate. He smiles, a warm and genuine expression that ignites something fuzzy and soft inside you. You don't notice you're staring until he turns away and moves away towards the trunk. He reaches into the car and pulls out a lever under the driver's side of the front seat, and the trunk pops open. You follow him to it, and after rummaging around in the contents for a minute, he brings out a pair of pliers. Alright, you go over and take care of the lights. I've got a few things to get together. You crouch down behind the fence, and when you reach it, scrambling along in the shadows until you reach the dealership's main building. With a peek over the edge, you see that the wall of the building is cast in shadow from a poorly placed streetlight. Another peek and you spot the same make and model. Take a shot. Another peek and you spot a car the same make and model as yours off the back of the lot near a sign that says discount section, big deals. It takes an embarrassing amount of effort to get over the fence, but you manage it and press yourself flat against the wall, inching towards the fuse box. It's locked, but you pry it open with the pliers and look over what's inside. A bunch of switches and some wires. I feel like if it was me, I would flip a bunch of switches. You hold your breath. Nothing happens. Flip the biggest switch. With your face pinched in concentration, you push the biggest switch in the opposite direction, and the entire property goes dark. You slip the tools into your back pocket and take a look around just to make sure the power's out. The satisfied nod, you feel your way into the parking lot, knocking your shins on 3 separate cars before you figure out you should probably stop and wait for Stan. Where you at, kid? Oh, Bo. His face isn't far away, but he isn't close either. His voice isn't far away. His face, hopefully, isn't far away either. You feel your way around in an SUV, then a sedan. The gravel in the parking lot crunches under your feet, and you reflexively stare down at the ground ahead of you as your eyes slowly adjust to the darkness. Out ahead of you, a flashlight turns on and scans the lot, and it finds you. Found ya. He sounds amused, probably the way that you're standing with your arms spread over a sleek, modern sports car. Getting familiar with the merchandise, yeah? You give the car an awkward pat and make your way towards the beginning of the flashlight's beam. You see anything the same make and model as yours before you shut the lights off? Yeah, there's one back in discount section. It's over there. It's kind of insulting now that you think about it, actually. Oh, I'll get familiar with Stan's merchandise. You're absolutely unhinged today. Real, though. He hands you the flashlight when you reach him, and you start slowly back towards the discount cars. Discount. Your car it's a classic. It's usually extremely reliable. To be perfectly honest, it's not even your fault that it's in the state that it's in. It was Ford and his whatever it is. You're deep in salty thoughts when your hands suddenly grip your ribs on either side. Gotcha. Oh, if you don't stop grabbing me. Yeah, I'm unhinged today. I will not apologize though. Don't apologize. That's what we're here for. We're here to simp. It's fine. It's fine. Now back to Stan once again grabbing me. You scream and throw back an elbow at whatever's got a hold of you, and you hear Stan yelp and fall in a clatter of kicked gravel and metal clanking together. He scared you again. Oh wow, I really got you that time. Holy smokes, kid. You turn the flashlight to where you had heard him fall, where you find him with a hand cupped over his face, blood dribbling out. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I deserved that one. No. You did, but no. Oh shit, I didn't. I'm really sorry. No, I'll be alright. Just help me up. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Don't scare me. This is pretty real though, if people do this to me. Scaring me, like grabbing me unexpectedly, tickling me, all of that, elbows will be thrown. That's real as hell. You tuck the still lit flashlight into your back pocket for a moment, reaching down and finding his hands in the dark to pull him up. Kiss it to make it better. You're right. You're so right. Come here, Stan. Once he's on his feet, you retrieve the flashlight from your back pocket. As you bring the beam to Stan's face, you find him holding a handkerchief over his nose and squinting. He's apparently brought a backpack with him, and it's sitting on the ground behind him where he presumably dropped it when you elbowed him. You know, that was a really solid hit. You got a lot of power in there. I sure do. I don't know if you were just saying it to be nice earlier, but I really could show you some moves. Teach you how to direct that strength. This really isn't the time. You're bleeding everywhere. I feel like the Stan answer is, yeah, that sounds fun. But this time, I'm gonna be a little more true to myself, because, Stan, this is not the time. You are bleeding everywhere. He removes the hanky from his nose for a moment, gently prodding at the bridge of his nose with a finger, and frowns. Well, it's not broken, that's for sure. That's good. He laughs quietly, taking a clean corner of the handkerchief and dabbing his nose with it, grimacing and sniffing hard when it comes back still clean. Good to go. Are you sure you're alright? Yeah, of course. I've gotten worse beatings than that, believe me. I mean, I believe you, but... His face is flushed from the sudden injury, but he looks otherwise okay, so you sigh and plant your hands on your hips. Then let's finish this. He reaches out towards you, then catches a glimpse of blood and recounters, wiping his gloves clean as he can with the hanky. When you reach the car you spotted earlier, he pops the hood and drops his pack on the ground next to the bumper, unzipping it to reveal a jumble of various wrenches and tools. Alright, hold the flashlight steady. Steady on the engine, and keep an eye out. Watch him work just for a minute. Oh, I feel like we're gonna get caught if I don't keep an eye out. But realistically, I would not be very focused. Hi, I'm Sater and I have ADHD. So this is once again like... from a meta perspective, right, I know that keeping a lookout would stop us from getting caught. Maybe we'll get caught either way. This seems like the kind of game where you get different narration, but the same shit's gonna happen either way. Let's make it more interesting and also more realistic. I'm gonna watch him work for a second. Keeping a lookout is definitely important, you think, as he rolls up his sleeve and exposes sturdy, well-muscled arms. That's... wow. His gloved hands take deliberate, practiced movements without hesitation, zeroing in on the spark plugs immediately. He bends over the front of the car, his jacket riding up his back as he stretches to grab a deeply set part, and you catch one glimpse of skin before you hastily turn your attention back to the lot in front of you. You're suddenly very glad it's dark as you feel a blush spread over your face all the way out to your ears. Well, I'm glad I did that. It doesn't take long for him to get what he needs for your car, shutting the hood and setting his pack on it as he stuffs parts into it. That was quick. Now, the parts you needed are easy to find. Just takes the right, hey, what's going on over here? See? I fucking knew it! I knew we were gonna get caught. That you, bud? A beam of a flashlight finds you both. Stan turns around quickly, leaving the bag behind himself on the hood. Yeah? Pines? What the heck happened to your face? What are you doing here Hey, are you stealing parts again? No. Stan inches closer to you until your shoulders touch, and behind you, he pushes the bag into your hands before lowering his voice to speak to you. Run for it. Keep the bag out of sight and toss it into the bushes nearby. I'll get it later. You nod, picking up the bag and holding it to yourself, behind yourself. The flashlight by the road moves closer, and you slowly scoot away from the car and backwards. Hey, you! Where are you going? Move backwards a little faster, keeping the bag out of sight, and when the light leaves you to check on Stan, you make a break for it towards the back fence, throwing the bag over it ahead of you. A new voice nearby speaks. Yep, I accidentally clicked. Where you going, burglar? You're under arrest for burglary. There's a shout from Stan behind you, then a heavy thud, and one of the car alarms starts squealing. You're so surprised by the alarm that the second cop gets his hand around your wrists and slaps a pair of handcuffs on you. You better quit your squirming there, buddy. We caught you fair and square. Aw, come on, Blubs. I saved the town from an interdimensional demon. Give me a break. Sorry, Stan, we got a job to do. Stan grumbles quietly, and the man behind you leads you behind Stan and Blubs, who now got him in cuffs. You need to get out of this, but how? Go for the cop's gun is crazy. Try and grab something off his belt, and that's a little less dangerous. Oh, so you're gonna steal from the cop either way. I mean, go bigger. Well, I don't want to fucking kill nobody. I don't. Grab something else. You close the space between you and the cop behind you. Once something moves between your fingers, you grabbed it, bringing back, well, you're not sure what it is, but it feels like it's cold and metal, so you slip it into your back pocket. Oh shoot, Durland. We don't have the cruiser. What the hell? Y'all are here without your car? Me and my ideas for romantic strolls. Oh my god, they're so married. Well, why don't we just Commander Stan's car? You mean commandeer? I don't know. Edwin Durland, you are an absolute delight, and I cherish having you as my life partner. Oh, stop! This game's about them now. Durland giggles behind you, and Blubs giggles with him. The two of them push you and Stan into the back seat of his car, crowding you in with the art. Stan grips it protectively, muttering under his breath about the fuzz. He's quiet for most of the ride, only speaking up once. You okay, Satyr? I'm a liar. I'm a fucking liar. I'm alright. He falls silent after you respond, and stays that way all the way back to the station. Inside the station, Durland leads you to a pair of chairs by a desk, and Blug disappears down the hallway. Blubs is back after a few minutes, a deep frown set into his face, and after directing this frown at Durland, he takes you and Stan down another hallway to a set of cells. At the first, he withdraws a set of keys and opens the door. You and Stan are uncuffed, and with a solid and somewhat alarming clang, the door shuts and locks. You two better get comfortable. We'll get your prints in the morning. Stan grumbles, sitting down onto one of the provided bunk beds, and you sit down on the one next to it, facing him. He peels off his gloves, tucking them inside out into his pockets, and fiddles with a loose thread on the thin wool blanket on the bunk bed. Through the door and at the end of the hallway, you hear Durlin say something about fancy black finger paints to Blubs. Here in the bright fluorescent lights, you can see that he still has a bit of blood smeared under his nose and on his chin, and you feel a flush of embarrassment when you remember you're the one who did that to him. Can't wait to see how everyone back home reacts when they find out I've been arrested. Well, this is not so great. I'm really in jail right now. I'm having some kind of weird nightmare. Well, this is not great. You can say that again. How are we gonna get out of here? Stan shrugs, crossing his arms over his chest and flopping back onto the mattress. Don't think we can, kid. I'll see if we can convince them that you got hypnotized or something into coming along with me. Keep you out of trouble. Listen, if you're going down for this, then so am I. He laughs quietly, propping himself up on his elbows. You don't want to get into trouble with the law, kid, trust me. This isn't my first time spending the night in jail, not by a long shot. Sounds rough. Well, yeah, so it goes. This won't be so bad compared to 5 years in the Colombian prison. I fucking forgot that he went to Colombian prison. There's a story behind that, but he doesn't look like he wants to tell it at the moment. Anyway, the only way we're getting out of here is with the keys. Then we can just slip out a window or something. You think for a moment, stuffing your hands in your pocket, and suddenly remember the thing you grabbed off the cop. Oh, wait! You jump to your feet and dig in your pocket, withdrawing the small metal thing you stole, and then it's a set of car keys on a plastic keepsake photo fob. Stan's not looking, staring down at the floor instead, but you think you know what to do with these. You go up to the bars of the cell, looking for Durland. Hey, can you hear me out there? You dropped your car keys. The faint discussion in the other room stops, and a moment later, Durland comes into view. Where'd you get my keepsake key fob? I've been looking for that. You hold it through the bars with both hands as he reaches out for his key fob. You reach out to his belt on your right hand and unclip the ring of keys from his belt. He doesn't notice. Durland thanks you for returning his key fob and gives you and Stan a scrutinizing glare before heading back down the hallway and through the door. You hold the keys out in front of yourself and jingle them triumphantly. Look what I got off Durland. Stan stares at your hand in disbelief, then at you, then at the keys, then back at you again before laughing incredulously. What is this, an Old Spice commercial? Are you sure you don't have experience with this kind of thing? Stan takes the keys from you, Take a shot. Stan takes the keys from you, looking them over in his palm. He smiles at you, then looks down at the keys and covers his mouth with his hand, dragging it down over his chin. God, my brain. I can't believe I've been shown up by a tourist. Well, get used to it, buddy. I've got skills. He looks proud, smiling up at you and just like you just handed him $1 million. Well, what are you waiting for? Let's get the heck out of here. Anything for you, baby. Exactly. He stands as you reach through the bars and try keys until one works. The door swings open with a quiet creak, and you creep out down the hallway to the door. You open it a crack, looking into the lobby to see Blubs asleep at the front desk, and Durland not in sight. Slowly, you pull the door open and move into the lobby. Stan taps your shoulder and whispers low. We gotta get my keys. You see 'em anywhere? You glance around and spot them next to where Blubs is asleep, drool pooling at the table. Shoot. Crossing your fingers for luck, you sneak over to the desk and reach down and grab them when suddenly Blubs stirs and mumbles. Dang, Bigfoot, stealing my shoes. Stretching all my shoes. Not the shoes. Gotta readjust, my legs are falling asleep. Stan snorts behind you, and you manage to suppress a laugh as you pluck the keys away. Wait, hold on. Stan disappears into another room, and you are stunned, wondering what the hell he could be doing right now that is more important than escaping. Before you have the chance to call him something you might regret later, he reappears in the doorway with the troublesome clown painting under his arm. Oh yeah. Seriously? Duh. Alright, let's roll. Slipping out with a click of the station door behind you, you and Stan climb into his car and escape into the night. If there was a sunset, it'd be beautiful. Absolutely romantic, so perfect. After stopping by Bud's dealership to pick up the hidden backpack, you and your partner in crime head back to the shack in comfortable silence. You'd feel tired if it weren't for the adrenaline. You carry the backpack inside while Stan brings the art and the briefcase, setting both on the kitchen table. Such a romantical first date, exactly. I'd call that a successful night. Even though we got arrested, so would I. And fun, too. You grin over him and realize, in the bright kitchen light, he's still got blood on his face. How do you keep forgetting? You're the one who elbowed him, after all. Well, come here. You pull one of the chairs out from under the table, gesturing for him to sit down. Ooh. Got so realistic all of a sudden. He looks a little wary, but obeys, the chair's ancient metal frame creaking under his weight. You grab a couple paper towels, turning on the faucet sink and wetting them. Clean him up, obviously. Not gonna let him do it himself. I'm a gentleman. Mentally steadying yourself, you hold the side of his face and neck in your hand. Oh, Jesus. With a gentle pressure, you guide his head to tilt back until he's lit up fully by the overhead light. You can feel him blush under your hand, his skin heating up, and he seems too surprised to protest, even speak as you wipe the now dried blood from his face. He's quiet while you work, watching you with warm brown eyes rimmed with dark lashes. I could have taken care of this myself, you know. He says this, but he hasn't pulled away or made any move to leave. I did the damage. The least I can do is clean up after myself. Anyway, you've done plenty as it is. The paper towels you have become too... Oh, Jesus. The paper towels you have become too soiled to work with, so you toss them into the trash and go back to get a few more. Your hand returns to his cheek, and you could be imagining things, but it almost feels like he leans into it. I really did have a good time with you tonight. I had no idea crime could be so fun. He smirks, avoiding your gaze. And I had a good time too. Kiss that face! You pause for a moment, realizing something. Those cops aren't gonna come after us, are they? Stan shrugs. Probably not. They're nice enough guys, but not exceedingly competent. You laugh quietly and he smirks up at you. You stand back to make sure you're finished, and toss the last paper towels into the trash. You sure it's not broken? Nah, I'm fine, don't worry about it. Your hand lingers on his cheek. Ooh. How forward are we gonna be? I feel like Stan is a man who appreciates someone who's very forward. Hug now. I feel like I'm being held at gunpoint. Alright. You take a fortifying deep breath and lean down, wrapping your arms around him. Thanks for the car parts. You pull away, and he's got a funny look on his face. And for the good time. Well, good night. He stares at you for a moment with that look on his face, then composes himself and gives you a goofy smile. Sleep tight, Satyr. You brush your teeth and change into your pajamas, and it's not until you get into bed that you realize you're still smiling. The rush from it all hasn't completely faded, but after a while your eyes grow heavy and you drift off to sleep. Nobody back home is ever going to believe this. That's true. Real. Love meter! Oh, I love the love meter. It's so cute. We gotta save really quick. Yes. Return. Can you give me dating tips? You're good at this. Am I? Someone thumps their fist on the storage room door, stirring you from sleep with a jolt and a thud as you fall off the mattress. Scrambling to your feet, you step over to the door and swing it open wide. I love this too. It's a good time. Satyr, I need your help. At that moment, you look down to see Waddles swaddled in her arms, wearing a top hat and a small bow tie. Why is Waddles looking so dapper? He does look pretty dashing, doesn't he? Wait, we're not here to dish out compliments. There's an emergency. I love emergency. Mabel stares up at you with wide eyes, her little arms unmoving as Waddles attempts to wiggle free from her grasp. This kid's stronger than she looks. Knowing Mabel, this could mean she has a new crush. From what Dipper's told you, she's still deeply rooted in her boy-crazy phase. Or she desperately wants to wed Waddles to some unsuspecting critter outside. Waddles and Gompers are renewing their vows today, and I couldn't find Gompers to put his gown on. You gotta help me find him. Yeah, that was an emergency. There's been no option to kiss Stan yet. Patience. Gotta let it slow burn a little. You weren't actually expecting your second guess to be right. Okay, wait, Mabel, just calm down for a second. But we have to find Gompers. The ceremony's in 20 minutes. Waddles wriggles himself free and runs down the hallway to freedom, ignoring Mabel's shriek of protest as she chases him. You're compelled to go back to bed, deciding that this is almost definitely a dream, but jog after Mabel regardless. You catch sight of Mabel just as she leaps over Dipper, who's sitting on the floor with a large array of graph paper and chewed pencils. She runs to the back door, suspiciously open, after Waddles' snorting self, yelling at him to not lose his tie. Mabel, what's going on? Waddles, wedding, Gompers! You're a little out of breath. Mabel's fast. Dipper smacks a hand on his forehead, dragging it down his face dramatically. Of course, she told me they're renewing their vows or something. They got married last summer, but she misses the pizzazz of weddings. I gotta stretch, y'all. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, streaming is so hard on the body, actually. Okay. Dipper looks nonplussed, but you can tell he's at least a little invested. Are you gonna help her with whatever that was? I don't even want to imagine this wedding failing. With that, you run past him, Dipper's stutter of surprises growing fainter as you head outside. Mabel's already a ways away when you burst into the shack's backyard. Fortunately, Stan and Ford are nowhere in sight. You're not sure what you'd think of them finding you searching for a goat bride, as Mabel calls you to lure Gompers home. Come on, Gompers, I already booked the second honeymoon and the caterers are gonna be mad. Runaway brides are so cliché. She's seriously invested in this farm critter's take a shot, in this farm critter's marriage. That, or she's watched way too many dramatic romance movies. Or both. Gompers, come on, goat pal, where are you? You hear Dipper head towards Mabel to help her look, so you veer opposite, opting to cover more ground in search of the runaway goat bride. Let's look. I'll save this one for last. I have a feeling that it's gonna let me look everywhere. Let's look under the foundation. You duck onto your knees and look under the house. There's a large hole that leads somewhere underground, but you figure Gompers isn't down there if that's Ford's illustrious basement Dipper's gushed about. Let's look on the roof. You walk backwards and put your hand on your brow, shielding your eyes from the sun as you search the scaffolding of the shack. Nothing. You continue walking the side view until rays of sunlight obscure the view above the sign for the gift shop. Rather serendipitously, a cloud glides overhead to block the sun and you're able to look up higher, seeing the misspelled lettering, various wear and tear on the roof, and a small billy goat. But I wanted to look in Stan's car. Can I go back? Let's save first, because I'm worried that going back sends you, like, home? Okay, nice. Look inside Stan's car. Despite the absence of both Stan and Ford, the former's cherry red car sits in front of the shack, gleaming in the summer sun. I just realized that from the perspective of the game, what that looks like is I looked on the roof, saw Gompers, and went, wait, I have to go snoop. I didn't see him. I don't know what you're talking about. Conveniently, I'm just going to search in this car of this person that I'm romantically pursuing. You head towards it and peer into the windows, cupping your hands around your eyes to see inside. There's a can of pit soda on the passenger seat, a badly hidden pack of cigars in the driver's side door pocket, and a magazine on the floor of the back seat. You squint at it and find it's emblazoned with the title, Fully Clothed Women. Interesting. And you hope Stan will clean that up before you go on another drive with him. But it's not a goat. Okay, now we can look on the roof. Blah, blah, blah. Billy Goat munching on part of the weather vane. Wait. Hey, Mabel. Yeah? You point up to the roof at Gompers. Here comes the bride. Mabel shrieks Gompers and sprints to the gift shop, slamming the door behind her so the open sign flips to close. There's a silence for a moment. Then something flips open on the roof's small balcony, and Mabel pops out from underneath, climbing up onto the roof and attempting to coax Gompers down. There's a ladder up to that balcony thing inside the gift shop. It's pretty cool for fireworks. Mabel pulls a sandwich from her sleeve, you can't help but imagine what else she has up there, and waves it at Gompers' direction, and he trots towards the balcony, hopping down to Mabel's level and snatching the sandwich from her hand. She grabs the goat and heads back down to the ladder into the gift shop. Oh, Gompers, you can't get the pre-wedding... Oops. Oh my god, dude. Can't get the pre-wedding jitters anymore. You're already married. You can't get away that easy. Thanks a billion, Satyr. You saved the wedding. With that, Mabel gets to work on wrestling Gompers into the dress, yelling commands to Dipper to grab Waddles, who thankfully didn't get his bow tie dirty when he dashed away earlier, and get everything ready for the most important ceremony in the history of ever. Maybe an exaggeration, but Mabel's excitement is undoubtedly contagious. Okay, once Dip finds Waddles, I think we can get everything ready. I am, of course, oh my god. My brain can't register the word. The Vicator? Hold on. I feel so stupid. I have to like type it out without the break. My like dyslexia is ruining my life right now. We're giving up. Proud Mother musical guest combo. Dipper's gonna take pictures for my scrapbook. Hey, I never agreed to that. Dipper, please. I gotta officiate. Do you mean officiate? See, I'm so busy I can't even talk right. Please, Dipper, I'll help you with some nerd thing later, pinky swear. Dipper contemplates this, hand at his chin, mirroring Grunkle Ford, of course. As long as you actually do this time, then yeah, I'll take pictures. Mabel jumps up and down with excitement, jostling poor Gompers in her arms. Yay, thank you, Dipper, I owe you one. This is what the best brother looks like right there, Satyr. Haha, okay, you don't have to do that whole thing again. I'll get back to... Waddles, you get back here. Okay, now we have that fixed. That means we have... Wait. Seuss left already. My ring bearer's gone. Oh no, what are we gonna do, Gompers? Gompers gives the intelligent answer of bah, chewing on his bridal veil. I could ask them, but I don't know. Gompers chooses that moment to look into Mabel's eyes and bleat at her insistently. Mabel naturally takes this as a sign from Goat. You're right. Of course this is your special day. Again. Mabel turns to you with pleading eyes. Hey, Satyr. Could you be the new ring bearer for the ceremony? When do I get to see Stan again? I do love Mabel. And as a fellow goat, I feel like I need to help. I need to help my goat brethren in his wedding. It would give me no greater honor. I'm very invested in this partnership, Mabel. I gotta see it through. Mabel beams, obviously very pleased that you're taking this as seriously as she is. Gotta get on his niece and nephew's good side to further the relationship. It's true. It's true. I'm impatient. I know I told you to be patient. I'm also impatient is the thing. Let's go get this show on the road, or this wedding on the backyard. It still works. Mabel runs back into the house, and you hear her thudding upstairs faster than a hungry Waddles. Gompers, thankfully, still occupied by the half a sandwich Mabel taunted him with. Stay put. She comes back soon after with a fluffy purple pillow and 2 clear sticks. After snapping the sticks in half, glow sticks. They're glow sticks. She curls them into a small bracelet-sized ring. They're so much more fun than rings. Plus, Waddles can put it on his tail and look super handsome. Waddles oinks in agreement, and his mad dash out of the house, he's lost his top hat. Hold out your hands out, palms up, and get down so you're not on his not as tall, so they can't. Jesus Christ. And get down so you're not as tall. They can't put the rings on each other if you're all the way up there. She's got a point. You're ducked to your knees in the dirt, and Mabel turns your hands palms up, reverently placing the pillow and the glow sticks atop them. Okay, Mabel, I'm here with the camera for Seder. Why are you on the ground? You gesture to the happy couple with a wide arc on your arm. They need a ring bearer. Well, I guess they do. Mabel nods, small hands on her hips. She looks over the wedding scene and mumbles to herself, checking things off a mental list. Okay, I think what? I forgot the flower petals. I'll be right back. And she's gone again, leaving you alone with a pig groom, a goat bride, and 2 glow stick bands of matrimony. Goatrimony. That kind of works. You decide not to crack the pun on Dipper, who's examining his disposable camera. He pops the back open and sighs, smacking a hand on his forehead. This one's out of film. It must have been the one Mabel used at Candy's party. He looks up at you and shrugs. I'll go get one of my spares. Make sure these 2 don't go anywhere, or Mabel will, well, you know Mabel. You haven't known Mabel as long as Dipper has, but you understand immediately. You're left alone in the backyard with a groom's pig, a bride goat, and 2 glow sticks, and a broken disposable camera. While you would love to say you've absolutely been in this situation before, you unfortunately have not. I really am very happy for you both, Waddles and, Gompers. Both animals turn to you, nonchalant in the current state of events, sorry. I can read. But I can't believe Mabel forgot the flower petals, jeez. Just as you go to continue this one-sided conversation between human, goat, and pig, you hear 2 voices coming around from the house. 2 very familiar voices. Listen, Sixer, if you hadn't gone off about the wobbly junker, the gobble wonker, Stanley, has Dipper really never told you? Then you wouldn't have freaked out the kid at the store. We really needed... Jesus, why can't I read today? Then you wouldn't have freaked out the kid at the store we needed, and we'd have, oh, I don't know, the stuff to fix my house after you got the car stuck in it. It's still my house, and besides, if he was a fisherman and he needed to know... Both Stan and Ford round the corner to see you sitting on your heels next to Waddle and Gompers. Brandishing a pillow and glow sticks in the dirt, the 3 of you stare at each other in silence. I can explain. Mabel needed a ring bearer for the wedding. At this moment, Mabel kicks down the back door, runs to your side, and throws rows of petals atop your head. Rows of petals. I'm literally so stupid. Ta-da! You blow a rose petal off the tip of your nose and grin at Mabel. I think our bride and groom are ready to renew their vows, don't you? Mabel nods emphatically at you before turning to her grunkles, lighting up a 100-watt smile. Yes, Grunkle Stan, Grunkle Ford, you guys just got back just in time. And just like that, Mabel pushes Stan and Ford towards you and tugs their hands so they sit across from you. Stan complains about his knees, and Ford asks Dipper exactly why the pig and goat are betrothed. Fits with what you know about both at this point. Mabel makes way for the wedding and you sit cross-legged, the pillow and glow stick rings on your lap. Every so often, Mabel stifles a theoretical sob, wiping a very real tear from her eyes before she turns to you for the rings. Oh, Mabel, how should the betrothed, wear the rings, since they don't have ring fingers? Just put them wherever you think they'll fit best. Alright, how do we want to do this? On their heads, around the goat horn, and around Waddle's tail. She did say Waddle's tail. One over each ear, like fun earrings. I think she'll like literally any of the options. But she did specifically say Waddle's tail. Goat horn and Waddle's tail. You get up and promptly crouch down in front of Waddles and Gompers, playing your ring bearer part very seriously. A glow stick ring goes onto one of Gomper's horns, and you place the other on Waddles' ear, hanging off his circular curly-Q tail. I now pronounce you husband and husband. Again. Oh, I just saw you said the middle option. I don't remember what the middle option was. I think it was, wasn't that the tail, the horn and tail? The first one was tiaras, then it was horn and tail, and then it was, earrings. So yes, agreed. You may now kiss the goat. Waddle sniffs at Gomper and snorts. That definitely counts. Dippers reappears with a new camera and Mabel throws more rose petals at him. A few get stuck in his fluffy hat and he rolls his eyes, but retaliates by taking a very close-up picture that flashed temporarily blinding her. Hey, save the film for the renewedly weds. I had plenty of pictures for my scrapbook. I need plenty of pictures for my scrapbook. You owe me a new camera for this, Mabel. She sounds annoyed, but his fond sibling smile gives him away, and he starts taking pictures for the happy couple, getting odd angles as Mabel pushes them into silly poses. You step away from the scene and go to head back into the house. Being a ring bearer is thirsty work, but Stan and Ford stop you before you make it to the door. Hey, Satyr. Thanks for playing along with Mabel's whole wedding thing. We're both glad you're willing to entertain her for whenever we're gone. She didn't, make you do it, did she? Oh, she didn't. She needed a ring bearer, so I stepped up to help. Stan and Ford arch matching brows at you. I'm very invested in the marriage of a goat and a pig, you know. The three of you laugh and Stan pats your shoulder. Ford gives you a warm smile. Well, I'm glad you're into all that as she is. Thank you for that. Yeah, kid, it's nice of you to be, nice to her, you know? Stan clears his throat, awkwardly rubbing the back of his neck. Thanks for playing with Mabel and all her wedding thing, and her weird wedding thing. Looks like she likes you. It's not hard, but still. Aw, stop. He gives you a genuinely grateful smile that you easily return. It's no problem, really. I'm happy to keep her and Dipper happy where I can. Stan nods at you, pink in the cheeks, before going past you and heading into the house. You swear you see Ford give him a funny look, but you could just be imagining it. Hey, Satyr, you're gonna miss the party. We got popsicles. I call the red ones. Pineapple ones are mine. I call dibs. But the pineapple ones are the best ones. Mabel and Stan wrestle over a yellow popsicle, while Dipper contentedly unwraps a red one, holding it above his head and out of Gomper's way. Ford gingerly picks out a purple ice pop and leaves the ice chest open for you to grab one as well. While Stan and Mabel aren't looking, you hide the pineapple popsicles at the bottom of the chest. Dipper sees you and starts laughing, but doesn't tell. They're a strange bunch, these two sets of Pines twins, but oh my god! Mentally resetting. Buffering. But they're certainly making your summer a lot more exciting as your stay at the Mystery Shack continues, your wreck of a car sitting outside in the heat of the setting sun. It's another day of summer with nothing to do but wait. Your schedule is surprisingly clear today. Stan usually has something going on for you to help with, and if not, Ford, Seuss, or the kids do. I obviously want to find Stan. You pass through the living room, and Mabel spots you from her seat at the table. Seder, I was hoping I'd see you. Come on, I want to ask you something. Mabel points down at the table with a raspberry pink colored pencil. Her art supplies, scattered across the table, lie across various sheets of paper with brightly colored doodles, and lots of glitter. You see a drawing that looks like a cross between Barney and Godzilla, a page full of puppies, and a page with a drawing that kind of looks like you, with that border Stan. Mabel's not finished with it yet, but the telltale jawline gives it away. You sit down at the table across from Mabel and suddenly get the same feeling you'd get at a job interview. It's intensified when she pushes her organized chaos of papers aside and steeples her fingers over the table's surface. Seder, I'll be frank. I've been trying to find a match for my grunkles for a while, but I've never seemed to get the matches made. Sorry, a match? But then, it's like you were pulled from thin air, attracted to the shack by a magnet of love. It was a sign, and this week just made the chemistry you share with them obvious. With him obvious. You know who I'm talking about, right? There's no other option. You know. You obviously know. Exactly. Grunkle Stan says he's not looking for love anymore, but I think he says that after every rejection. He's a romantic deep down. I can feel it. And you know what they say. Even if you're not looking for it, love will find you, no matter what. Love? That's a jump, to say the least. Well, you've certainly had enough time to form an opinion of Stan, and it's shifted and changed with every additional minute. He's got his own fair share of mysteries, and damn it, you're curious. There's plenty of potential there. I can see it in your face. You know what would really get this chemistry going. I'd like to get his chemistry going. Talking to him? Pff, what? No, I'm thinking about something more romantic. Hold on, I'm getting an idea. I'll get everything ready, Seder. You just focus on falling completely and utterly in love. Matchmaker Mabel is back in the game. Just as you exit the talk with Mabel, you run into Dipper right outside the living room. And it doesn't seem like an accident either. His arms are crossed and he's looking at you dubiously. So I heard about Mabel's plan. I just left the room. Yeah, well, word travels fast, and Mabel sends out mass update texts. His defensive posture softens a bit. Just tell me one thing. I know my grunkles can look after themselves, but can you promise me you won't hurt Grunkle Stan? Aww. Interesting. You can trust me, you can trust Stan. You can trust me. Okay, Seder, I'm remembering that. The text notification sounds and Dipper checks his phone. Be ready. Tomorrow afternoon? For your lakeside date with Grunkle Stan? Ugh, this feels awkward enough, no offense, Seder. It's just, my Grunkle Stan actually going on a date? Do old people even date? Kind of a hard thing to wrap my head around. I hope Mabel doesn't ask me for my help tomorrow. I mean, I have enough trouble trying to date for my... Mabel calls down from upstairs. Hey, Dip-Dop, I'm going to need your help tomorrow. Well, never mind. That night, you head back down to your room, ready to go to bed, but mentally still stuck on that interesting conversation earlier with Mabel. Mabel had already put her plan into motion over dinner. Turns out Stan had been planning to take the kids to the lake tomorrow to go fishing, and lucky you, Mabel managed to score you an invite. Waddles joins you, surprisingly, and you have some fun petting his belly and taking pictures as a distraction from your thoughts. It's almost like he knew something was up, or did Mabel send him? Is he infiltrating your safety zone for intel? Another date. I think this is technically the first date, but we're delusional here. Here at Happy Little Seder, we are delusional. So every interaction with a fictional husband is a date. Sure, we got arrested. Who doesn't get arrested on a few dates now and then? You decide not, laying onto your mattress to try and relax. Waddle settles by your side, snuggling up. Thanks for the support, little buddy. Eventually you get tired of your phone and decide to close your eyes, but you just can't stop thinking about what Mabel said. Stan, a romantic. Is that what Mabel said? Yeah, right. No way. Maybe charming in his own way, sure, but the type of guy to go on an actual date? Planned by Mabel? What was Mabel planning anyway? She might go for some fancy or for something fancy or formal, but Stan really seems in his element with the hands-on nitty-gritty stuff. Hands-on, yeah, you bet. Hopefully calling it a date won't ruin the natural thing you have going. Your eyes finally close for good, feeling weighed down and heavy. You give Waddles a pat while you still can, before slipping into unconsciousness. I'm gonna save right quick. You slip out of a dream and back into your room. In real life, the sky is light outside and groggily you feel regret as you realize Waddle's comforting weight isn't there anymore. Wait, that's not what you're regretting. You're regretting the end of what you felt like was a really good dream. Whoops. Stan had taken you with him to the lake, you think, and somehow ended up in the water. Sunlight streamed down on him as he grinned at you, his white shirt sticking wet to his skin. That'd be a date, all right, but it's the last thing you're expecting from today. Laughing quietly at yourself, you glance at the clock to see its time and get ready for the day anyway. A little while later, you're dressed for a day at the lake, meaning dressed for a regular day of summer. You're not sure what to expect, but you keep it casual. You would have eaten breakfast with Stan and the kids, but you were barred from the kitchen by Mabel, who was shielding you from a surprise. Instead, you were handed a slice of toast topped with an oddly cheerful sunny-side-up egg, and waved outside. Now that you're out in the sunlight, you can see that Mabel stuck a smiley face sticker on top of the egg. You peel it off with a shrug and dig in. Leaning against the scarlet door of the El Diablo, you stare at the totem pole outside the shack, thinking about how it both stands out and fits perfectly in with the shack's aesthetic. It's obviously part of the weirdness of the tourist stop, but you're not sure why. It looks pretty well made, even if it's kind of creepy that whenever you move, the eyes at the top seem to follow you. Suddenly, the front door of the house bursts open, and a flurry of sequins and glitter hair clips flies out, attached to a very excited Mabel. Satyr, are you ready? You're not spying any conspiratory nudges or winks, so you kind of think Mabel's dropped on the whole date setup thing, at least for a moment. For what, fishing? Yeah, aren't you excited? Oh my god, this is actually kind of my nightmare. I've said before, I don't like fishing. The hooks make me nervous. This isn't just regular lake fishing, this is Gravity Falls fishing, where adventure waits, danger is hot on your heels, and the islands shift and move in the corners of your eyes. The what move? Are we talking about Scuttlebutt Island? I love telling that one. So we were out on the shore, right? And we saw this giant... Hey, you kids better not be giving Satyr that lake monster story again. Stan comes out of the shack with several fishing rods in the crook of his arm, as well as a large tackle box in his right hand. In his other hand are 4 fishing hats with haphazard embroidery on the front of 2 of them. Closer look reveals that there are actually names stitched into the hats, reading Mabel and Dippy. Stan, you don't have to pretend to not believe us anymore. I swear it really happened and just rose right out of the water and started chasing us. And we had to row back as fast as we could, and it was speaking creepy monster language, and... What did I say? No more of that talk or you're gonna scare Satyr away. Both kids look a little disappointed, but leave it at that. Stan puts on a smile and drops Dipper and Mabel's respective fishing hats onto their head, and Mabel tugs hers on while running to the car, while Dipper follows, exchanging his usual hat for the fishing one. Stan looks out after them, then turns to face you. Yeah, kids love to exaggerate. Pretty sure it wasn't that terrifying. Besides, I've been through worse. Hear that, kids? Only your grunkle Stan's got the right to complain. Stan hefts his fishing supplies over to one arm, using the other to dig around in his pocket for the car keys. He tosses the rods, hat, and tackle box inside. Mabel's hand darts in before Stan closes the trunk, grabbing a hat. Before you can tell what it says, it's shoved into your hands and you smooth out the fabric to read Satyr. Stop! Stan groans. Mabel, I thought I told you I wasn't gonna give it to them. Oh my god, stop! But you worked so hard on stitching it this morning. You even got the letters on the right way on, mostly. Oh my god, that's so cute. Nibble gets in the back seat next to Dipper, leaving you to look at the hat more closely. The sewing is a little messy and one of the letters is backwards, but Stan clearly put some amount of care into it. Speaking of Stan, he's staring at the hat Mabel shoved at you, thinking of something to say. Did you really make this for me? Stan scratches the back of his head and shrugs a little. Yeah, Mabel wouldn't let me leave until I made you one. Said it was nicer if all of us had matching hats or something. I bet that's a lie. I bet she didn't make him. Immediately put the hat on. You put it on and beam at Stan. He doesn't respond, just reaching up and closes the trunk, but you could see he looks almost too privately pleased to give comment. Come on, let's get to the lake before all the tourists take the good parking spots. The parking lot is far less packed than Stan made it out to be. The weather brought out the true fishing fanatics, and you recognize a few customers from the Shack's gift shop milling about. There are a couple clouds out, God. But the sunshine is warm against your skin as you step out of the car, and you shield your eyes from the light as you look over the lake. Okay, I think that we are going to save right here. And I'm gonna call it a day, because we have been streaming for almost 3 hours now. I'm a little pooped. Not gonna lie to you, I'm a little pooped. We're gonna raid. Who do we want to raid, though? I'm trying to make it a habit to raid at the end. Let's see. Yeah, I think that I want to leave it here. This is a good place to pick it up later. We have 2 vibe days later this week, and I think I'm probably gonna end up playing this. Let's see, create a dashboard. Stream. Cool. Let's raid, No one I follow is live right now, so it's just gonna be some rando, lol. It's an art stream. I'll raid an art stream. What are they doing? What are they working on? They're modeling. Alright. Well, thank you guys for watching. It's been so fun. I can't wait to keep watching, or keep playing, lol. I will see y'all tomorrow for day 3. Bye.